Chapter 1. Thanks to all the readers for their generous support. As of 10:30 a.m. today, it's been only about 24 hours since I uploaded the new book, and already more than 5,000 readers have given rewards. I am truly grateful for everyone's support. There are too many readers to mention individually, so below I will list only the Alliance Masters who have given rewards. Zaikai, Golden Alliance Master. Zaikai had said that if I started a new book, he would take the Golden Alliance Master spot. I didn't expect him to do it so quickly. He rewarded it as soon as the book went up, before I even had a chance to promote it. Thank you, Alliance Master Zai, for your support. Carl King. Old K has supported Fengchi for so many years. Book after book, he's always been there. Words can't fully express my gratitude. Juri Yuran. Thank you, Juri, for giving a Silver Alliance Master reward on the very first day. There are many other Alliance Masters as well, many of whom have supported my previous novels. Thank you all for your continued support over the years. Alliance Master List. Gun Demon. Shu Jingming. Dream Zero. Absolute Love. Dream. Absolute Love Divine Dynasty. Uncle Chuang Baby Master. Lili Shishi Ultimate Solution. You Grand Primordial Ancestor Helplessness. Flowers Fall Zhang Yang. Red Snow Fragment 3 Lives. Destiny, Ileana's Wood Floating on Water, Not Sinking Red Alliance, Xiaolai Rain Immortal, Chichen Evil Wuling, Flamboyant Powerbank, Flipping Books, Loving Loneliness, Flipping Books, Watching Loneliness, Xiaotong's Ramblings, Riddler, Knowing Heaven's Ease Yet Defying Heaven's Difficulty, Primordial Emperor Sunset Karma, Fire Banished Immortal, Chichen Lost, 2099 Street Food So Handsome Vast Profound Dust, Danny Lu Dawn Stars, Silver 100 Million 10 Years Cold Moon, Happy Fruit Jellyf Unit 0, Wildfire Wood Already Made Boat, 0919 Sun Ergo's Master Yu Gao Illusory Fate, Really Not, Shushan Good Night. Also immediately has Book Friend 280710 20210153, Dragon Manling Fan Xingji Sulinchin Only Eats Fangchi La 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 Jichen Ji Yi. Together Shallow Memories, Qinhuai Willow is a Fish My Heart, Thinks of You Immortal Kitchen, Beacon Immortal Autumn Embraces Hanmeng Neighbor, Uncle, Shen Shenchi Pudding, Wu Mao Yogers, Charles Siwis Person Under Wutong. Cannot be used. Chapter 2. Over 100 Alliance Leaders. Today, several more Alliance Leaders joined. Dahong Feige, Hongmeng Gongzi, Jusui He, Hanzemin, and Mjihao. The total number of Alliance Leaders has now exceeded 100. Fanchi is deeply grateful for everyone's support. All Alliance Leaders will receive an Alliance Leader gift box containing 6 merchandise items, a 16-inch Swallowed Star 2 Origin Continent suitcase, a Swallowed Star 2 Origin Continent Alliance Leader commemorative pillow blanket, a Tauntaun cup, including an Origin Continent metal sticker, a signed copy of Swallowed Star, an I Eat Tomatoes custom umbrella, and a Luo Feng SSR keychain. Detailed photos of these items are available in the Reader Community post. Alliance Leaders can click Add Alliance Leader QQ group under the novel's introduction. After joining the group, privately message the administrator, Effort Crab, with your address and phone number, and the Alliance Leader gift pack will be sent to you. Thank you again for your support over the years. Fanchi will work even harder on the new book, Swallowed Star 2, Origin Continent. Chapter 3, First Arrival at the Origin Continent. The Samsara passage was dark and endless. Finally, I can see the end. Inside the Star Tower, Luo Feng stared at the bright point that marked the passage's exit. From his position as an eternal true god, the vast, vibrant world beyond was already visible. We've finally arrived at the Origin Continent, Master. The world beast Morosa trembled with excitement. Yes, Luo Feng smiled. Although excitement thrummed through him, he kept his expression careful and solemn. Once we get to the Origin Continent, you must not reveal anything about being a world beast. There are countless forces far stronger than us there. If our nature is exposed, we'll have nowhere to hide. Master, don't worry. Even if I die, I won't reveal anything about world beasts. Morosa swore. Luo Feng nodded. Both he and Morosa possessed perfect divine bodies. Each life was magnified 100,000-fold. Their lives contained abilities beyond imagining. They could isolate their life aura to foil aura tracking, blur heavenly secrets, and shift forms without flaw. Even if they perished, a single drop of blood could bring them back thanks to the Undying River, one of the 3 inheritances of the Duandong He lineage. But that protection came with a caveat. If beings on Origin Continent learned their true nature, they would hunt down every last blood drop and annihilate them completely. The waters of the Origin Continent are unfathomably deep, Luo Feng said gravely. Over limitless years, only one world beast survived here, the one in Tianmu country. All the others died. Morosa was startled. They were both world beasts. He knew how many methods of rebirth existed. But they all have perfect divine bodies. How could they all die? Luo Feng's expression was somber. Without the supreme rule restrictions of the primordial universe, I received a torrent of lineage memories while in the Samsara Passage, Duandong He, and Jin World transmissions. I know many of Origin Continent's secrets. My master, Zuo Shanki, and the Duandong He ancestor a few generations ago were both god-king level. Yet that ancestor is completely dead. Zuo Shanki himself was chased into the universe sea. World beasts grow by mastering the path of destruction. Their very birth is a calamity in this world. Any force that discovers one will move to eliminate it. The Tianmu country world beast survived only because it had already reached its peak when exposed and was controlled by its master, so the other powers tolerated it. I have a master too, Morosa said quickly. Luo Feng smiled, but remained stern. Even with a master, you must be strong enough. Otherwise, even ancient beings won't hesitate to crush you. Right. Morosa's tone was obedient. Bound by soul enslavement, he would not disobey. As a world beast, he loved destruction and devouring, the fastest way to grow. But in the primordial universe, after the calamity, he had followed Luo Feng's strict orders. He refused to devour other small universes, and instead absorbed chaos chi slowly, taking a long time to reach eternal true God. Though Luo Feng could already see the end of the Samsara Passage, the Star Tower still traveled for a while longer. Then, with a whoosh, it emerged over a vast, desolate plain. A great aura spread and condensed into a mist that blurred the world. Behind them, the Samsara Passage vanished. Luo Feng retracted the Star Tower. He and Morosa appeared together on the open land. Luo Feng's hair had grown long, a pair of dark gold horns jutted from his forehead, and his appearance had shifted subtly. Morosa kept his honest, guard-like form, silver-gray skin, somewhat ugly but straightforward. I destroyed Ancestor Ziyue's small universe back then, Luo Feng murmured. But he's still alive. He knows that when I first became a true god, my small universe was already 1 billion light-years across. That kind of scale, right after becoming a true god, draws attention. Ancestor Ziyue, at least, is only a void true god, insignificant enough not to attract the top powers, but I'll still be careful. Luo Feng would not give anyone a chance through carelessness. With his perfect divine body and his ability to alter aura and appearance, Ancestor Ziyue likely wouldn't even recognize him, and most powerhouses here had never seen him at all. Master, look! Morosa pointed up at the night sky with wonder. Luo Feng looked. The Origin Continent's sky was deep and boundless, filled with countless stars. Those stars hung far above the land. Some were vast, some small. A few super-large stars pulsed with an aura that even pierced spatial and temporal barriers and startled Luo Feng. Life born here often rises to true God, Luo Feng said softly. Their small universes appear in the great night sky. Each star is a small universe. He pointed out the layers: true gods, void true gods, eternal true gods, chaos masters, god kings. Their small universes form the stars. The brightest, most terrifying stars belong to god kings. Morosa stared, mouth open. If he could freely devour those small universes, his growth would explode. Luo Feng's face was serious as he studied the firmament. Look at those stars. If a great star falls, it marks the death of a powerhouse. Morosa followed his gaze. By watching the sky, you can tell which powerhouses live and which have fallen. You don't even know precisely which being each star corresponds to, Luo Feng cautioned. He shifted his senses, probing the continent's spatial, temporal, and path fluctuations. Space here is terrifyingly stable. He extended his right hand and a dark vortex swirled in his palm, tearing at the void. The ripples were tiny, like stirring ripples on an ocean. Time flows slowly. He compared the temporal rate to that of the primordial universe via a divine power clone he'd left behind. 1 second here equals 10,081 seconds back home. Chaos laws feel unbelievably clear. Luo Feng's eyes brightened. In the primordial universe, the law perception had always been like looking through fog, dim and distant. Here the haze dropped away. The laws lay before him in sharp relief. That clarity made cultivation and comprehension far easier. It was why Origin Continent produced so many powerhouses. Below the true God level, the primordial universe was preferable. Above it, Origin Continent accelerated advancement. If he'd come here when he was only a true God, he would have reached eternal true God far faster. But Luo Feng had needed his time in the primordial universe, the destruction and rebirth there, the world beast's path, to comprehend the source of creation and destruction and rise. "Master, where shall we go?" Morosa asked. "I've sensed the surroundings carefully, but I can't find the origin ancestor." After breaking through the Samsara passage, you can appear anywhere on the continent. Luo Feng's gaze swept the land and pierced through layers of obstruction. Far across the plain, he saw gigantic worm-like alien beasts burrowed deep beneath the earth, divine birds circling high, a cautious group of true gods exploring, and a stealthy flying boat slipping away. Within his observation range, he counted several thousand alien beasts, a small team of 12 true gods, and a solitary void true god. Luo Feng's eyes fixed on the lone flying boat, hidden and moving silently. Inside the vessel stood a tall man with a sharp tail, clad in dark green armor. A faint light shimmered in his eyes as he scanned the world. Mo Yuhu was the man's name. He had almost risked his life in pursuit of a treasure, and the thrill tightened his expression. "This find will change everything," Mo Yuhu thought. "With it, my 3 children will have a chance. Maybe my eldest could become a disciple of an eternal true God." Origin Continent's social system was rigid, and master-disciple relationships often decided destinies. As a void true God, Mo Yuhu had unlimited life to pursue his own cultivation, but his wife had died long ago, and his 3 children were his only real concern. If he could secure a powerful inheritance, their futures would be set. Mo Yuhu steered the flying boat carefully, avoiding danger. Then, without warning, an irresistible force wrapped around the vessel. The boat dropped as if caught in an ocean whirlpool and began to shrink, smaller and smaller, the craft compressing in on itself. Not good. Mo Yuhu felt a chill run through him. His craft fought, but it could not escape. The boat sank into the vortex and finally plunged into its deepest point. That vortex resolved into a huge palm. Lines on the palm ran like rivers and ravines. Luo Feng stood motionless, only manipulating the void. He had reduced the space containing the faraway flying boat and gently cradled it in his palm. Morosa peered with interest. "Master, are you going to capture that flying boat?" he asked. "First, let's ask for directions." Luo Feng observed the lone figure aboard the tiny boat, held in his hand. Chapter 4, Zhujiang Chao State. Mo Yuhu trembled inside his flying vessel. He didn't dare hesitate. He launched out, landed before Luo Feng, and immediately knelt. "Mo Yuhu greets Shang Zun," he said, voice shaking. Fear gnawed at him. He had risked everything to obtain his treasure. If this terrifying being wanted it, he might be killed and the prize taken. He didn't want to die. His 3 children in Huyang City would have no chance without him. Luo Feng's tone was calm. "Which chaos state is this?" Mo Yuhu started. Luo Feng was asking for directions. He hastened to answer with proper deference. "Reporting to Shang Zun, this is Zhujiang Chao State of Yu Country." "Yu Country." Luo Feng nodded slightly. There were many powers on Origin Continent. Cities, tribes, hidden sects. Any of them could act as a faction. But to be entitled to call oneself a god country required at least a god king. His master, Zuo Shanqi, had once founded the Jin Kingdom and had been its lone god king. Shi Country and Yu Country were far stronger. Shi Country had originally possessed 3 god kings, and Yu Country 5. Shi Country and Yu Country were neighbors. Beneath the mask of chance, Luo Feng was relieved he had arrived in Yu Country after reincarnation. Had he landed in Shi Country, things would have been more complicated. He owed his present resources, the 9 Tribulations secret tome, the Star Tower, the Jin Kingdom legacy, and the Li Yuan art, to his master, Zuo Shanqi. The gratitude ran deep. If he ever rose to God King, he would stand with his master. For now, while still weak, it made sense to avoid the attention of Shi Country's 3 powerful lords. "I recall Zhujiang Chao State should have 3 major cities," Luo Feng asked. "Yes." Mo Yuhu answered promptly. "Zhujiang Chao State is vast. It has 3 large cities and 189 ordinary cities. The large cities are Zhujiang City, Huyang City, and Shuyan City. So the Chaos Master Jiang Marquis holds Zhujiang City? Luo Feng guessed. Mo Yuhu nodded. On Origin Continent, eternal true gods were sometimes given national surnames and often served as high officials governing regions or as core members who managed cities. Chaos Masters, though, were enfeoffed marquises, a much higher status. They were granted entire chaos states as fiefs. If relations soured, a Chaos Master could leave and pledge to another country. Jiang Marquis resides in Zhujiang City, Mo Yuhu said. Of the three, Zhujiang City enforces the strictest rules. Suyin City sees the most conflict, mines, and constant clashes among factions. Huyang City is near the border of Yu country. Neighboring countries maintain branches there, so trade is most developed. I live in Huyang City. Luo Feng considered the options. He needed a stable environment and accessible resources to cultivate quietly. Zhujiang City, with a Chaos Master present, was no place to train under scrutiny. Shuyin City was too conflict-ridden. Huyang City, by contrast, had flourishing trade and intelligence networks, perfect for procuring supplies and lying low. He made his decision. I will go to Huyang City, he told Mo Yuhu. Guide us. Relief and hope washed over Mo Yuhu. As guide, perhaps he would not be killed. He pointed out the direction. Luo Feng, with Morosa and Mo Yuhu, opened a path through space and dashed off. An invisible force wrapped around Mo Yuhu. Spatial distortion blurred everything. They swept through the void at speeds hundreds of times faster than any ordinary flying vessel. Shangzun, we must be cautious on the road. There are dangerous places, Mo Yuhu warned. Are there Chaos-level exotic beasts along the way? None, Luo Feng replied calmly when Mo Yuhu mentioned Chaos-level beasts. Zhujiang Chaos State only has one Chaos-level beast, Chaoyong, which lives deep within Chaoyong Lake. There are no other Chaos-level beasts. Mo Yuhu shivered at a different thought. Shangzun, if we don't avoid certain paths, we might pass through layers of eternal true god-level exotic beasts. Luo Feng glanced at him but said nothing. For him, arriving on Origin Continent empty-handed meant one thing: hunting exotic beasts. Killing an eternal true god-level beast could yield scales, bones, blood, essence, valuable cultivation materials, or trade goods. He still had precious items he couldn't sell: the God King weapon Star Tower, the God King blade embryo Blood Shadow Blade, and the eternal true god mechanical treasure Slaying Wu Wings. Of those, Slaying Wu Wings, as a mechanical stream treasure, was currently the most useful. The others would matter more as he grew stronger. According to Zuo Shank's intelligence, God Kings deliberately allowed exotic beasts to thrive on Origin Continent. Creatures proliferated across the land. Cultivators hunted them for materials to strengthen themselves. God King-level exotic beasts, however, were usually kept captive by powerful factions and unavailable to outsiders. If one ever appeared uncontrolled, God Kings would quickly capture it. Exotic beasts were a severe threat to weaker true gods, but for the truly powerful they were simply resources. Some beasts could, by bloodline alone, reach God King power. Those bloodlines were treasures raised and preserved by mighty forces. Even people like Zuo Shanke or the patriarch of the Duandonghe lineage could not access them. For Luo Feng, the true danger on Origin Continent was not beasts, but the innumerable cultivators, prodigies reborn from 3,000 primordial universes, natives of Origin Continent itself, elites shaped by countless generations. Lineages like Duandonghe's were weak by the continent's standards. Zuo Shanke himself was considered on the weaker side among god kings. Even Tianmu country, with a peak world beast, was not the supreme power here. His plan was clear: lie low and grow until he could claim more of Origin Continent's secrets. He would set aside Zuo Shanke's personal grudges for now. Without becoming a god king, he had no right to intervene. Far from the political surface, in the vastness surrounding the primordial universe, numerous small universes orbited. Luo Feng's small universe was among the largest, its diameter 100 billion light-years. It was absorbing chaotic airflow at peak efficiency, converting it into divine power for Luo Feng's true god heart and nourishing his nascent divine body. He had only recently become an eternal true god. His body had not yet matured. Inside his small universe, under a great tree, Luo Feng and Origin Ancestor sat across from each other, drinking fruit wine. Both were only divine power avatars. It wasn't until you told me that I learned the other end of the reincarnation channel was Origin Continent, Origin Ancestor side. Both had come through reincarnation, and their discussion of Origin Continent was no longer restricted by supreme rules. Do you know where you are? Luo Feng asked. Origin Ancestor replied, I encountered a tribe of over 10,000. Almost all the adults are true gods, and there's only one void true god. They treated me well. I'm within the territory of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom. Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom? Luo Feng studied him. On Origin Continent, any nation that called itself a kingdom had been founded by a god king. Only two held the title Ancient Kingdom, Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and Thunder Ancient Country. These two had the deepest roots and were regarded as the two strongest nations. Even Zuo Shanqi did not know when they were established. Their beginnings were shrouded in mystery. Rumors and hidden powers, like an entity named Yuan who had leapt out of the cage, the origin of Li Yuan art, hinted at forces beyond even the god kingdoms. Everything on Origin Continent demands caution, Luo Feng said. I know, Origin Ancestor answered. Where are you again? In Yu Country, a second-rate nation, Luo Feng told him. They were too far apart to meet. Without Chaos Master-level strength, crossing half the continent would be suicide. Origin Ancestor acknowledged this. Do you have any legacy to help you advance to Eternal True God? Luo Feng asked. No, Origin Ancestor shook his head. After the hardships to reach Origin Continent, I have no legacy. Everything must be accumulated slowly. Luo Feng nodded, knowing how rare legacies and intelligence were for those reborn here. He was fortunate to have survived so much and to carry legacies from both Zuo Shanke and the Jin Kingdom. He produced a memory stone he'd prepared. The core of Duan Donghe lineage's legacy was forbidden to pass on. The non-core parts were mediocre. Of the Jin Kingdom legacy, the 9 most important pieces were sealed, but other sections could be shared, if Luo Feng learned them first and then encoded them in a memory stone. He handed the stone to Origin Ancestor. This is the 9 Nightmares realm, he said. I've only mastered and recorded the first half. It can be cultivated up to the Eternal True God level. See if it suits you. Origin Ancestor's eyes lit up as he accepted the stone and immediately began to absorb its contents. After a while, he opened his eyes and smiled. Luo Feng, this 9 Nightmares realm is very suitable for me. Thank you. Luo Feng smiled. He had spent the month in the Reincarnation channel examining many legacies and judged this one the best match for Origin Ancestor. Origin Ancestor had cultivated nearly a whole Reincarnation era. He understood how difficult the leap from Void True God to Eternal True God truly was. Even on Origin Continent, where exotic beast materials and bloodlines aided cultivation, only a tiny fraction reached Eternal True God. This is all I can do, Luo Feng said. Within Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, everything is up to you. And you in Yu Country, be careful. They smiled at one another. Their true bodies were separated by half the continent. For now, each could only rely on their own strength and patience to forge a future. Chapter 5. Blue-Purple Blood Crystal Flower. The wilderness rang with the roars of strange beasts and the cries of winged creatures. Fluctuations of energy rolled across the land, destructive and unpredictable. Even true gods proceeded with caution here, not daring to provoke the more terrifying life forms. A spatial ripple tore through the sky, Luo Feng, his servant Morosa, and Mo Yuhu streaking through the void toward Huyang City. From a distance, every creature fell silent at their approach. Roaring beasts dove into water, flocks of flying monsters scattered. Wherever the fluctuation passed, not a sound dared to be made. An eternal true god, someone muttered in awe from afar. Only an eternal true god would be so bold in the wild, another whispered reverently. A nearby team of true gods watched with envy and respect. If only I could reach eternal true god in my lifetime, one sighed. Chan Muhe, don't be ridiculous. I'd be satisfied just settling down in Huyang City, someone else replied. Huyang City? It costs 1 chaos crystal to live there for an era. Can you even afford that? They fell back into their travel, muttering and dreaming. Luo Feng's party continued onward. Mo Yuhu was exhilarated. So this is how an eternal true god travels, she murmured. I used to conceal my presence the moment I left a city. Flying free like this, uncounted and unrestrained, is amazing. Luo Feng and Malo Sa paid more attention to the continent itself. They'd only ever learned of the origin continent by rumor before. Now they saw it with their own eyes. Mountains stretching for hundreds of millions of miles, rivers like silver ribbons, bottomless lakes, and every kind of prodigious beast. The creatures were keenly perceptive. Sensing the trio's aura, they fled and hid. "They're quick," Morosa observed. Luo Feng had no interest in pursuing weak beasts. Each had its own talents, and small prey wasn't worth the trouble. Then Mo Yuhu pointed ahead. "Shangzun, there's the lair of an eternal true god-level beast. A horned serpent, good at burrowing. Huyang City's forces have tried to encircle it before and never caught it." Luo Feng's heart quickened. An eternal true god-level beast was valuable. He was new to the origin continent, strapped for resources, and unwilling to part with his treasures. Hunting was the obvious way to earn funds. "Keep the void true god aura," he transmitted. "Don't scare it off." Morosa, a perfect divine body, was flawless at disguising his aura. Since arriving, he'd worn the guise of a void true god. As a world beast, he needed to remain low-key. Luo Feng, too, adjusted his presence, and the three slowed, bringing their auras into careful alignment as they approached the horned serpent's domain. Deep in the mountains, a vast golden single eye blinked in their direction. Space itself abruptly pressed down, squeezing so hard that surrounding stone and trees crumbled to dust. Luo Feng's divine power flared, resisting the pressure and shielding his companions. "Why have you come, eternal true god?" A thought voice trembled from the horned serpent. Luo Feng ignored it and pressed forward. Then, in the next instant, the serpent's thought came again. "Dare follow me further," and it vanished. Luo Feng halted. He felt the serpent's aura burrow deep into the earth, fleeing downward. Earth burrowing? He frowned. The stability of time, space, and matter on the origin continent made underground travel difficult even for him. That the horned serpent disappeared so instantly meant it must have mastered some Earth source technique. "Do we chase?" Morosa asked. "We can't catch it," Luo Feng said. He himself commanded the source of creation and destruction. Morosa was strong in the great path of destruction. Neither was particularly adept at earth burrowing. These strange beasts are miraculous. Their intelligence may be limited, but many are born mastering sources of the great path through their bloodlines. Even an eternal true god-level beast can possess god-king-level might just from lineage. "True," Morosa sighed. "Still, that serpent is timid." Luo Feng smiled. "It's not their fault. Eternal true god beasts achieve power through heritage. Cultivators cultivate secret arts, wield weapons, learn the great path. At the same tier, a cultivator often outmatches a beast. That's why most beasts avoid direct confrontation with eternal true gods. But when exceptionally powerful beasts do appear among them, they're treasures, worth far more than the ordinary." Hunting eternal true god beasts was difficult. They lived where their bloodlines suited and were masters at escape. With that, Luo Feng and the others resumed their course toward Huyang City. Far below, in a hollow of the mountains, two squads of void true gods clashed and fell. "We are Squad C1 of the Nine Banquets Tower from Huyang City. We only came to gather ingredients. Spare us," pleaded a rock-bodied creature. Out of 100 in their squad, only 3 void true gods remained. The rest were dead. 10 shadowy figures had trapped them, showing no mercy and intent on annihilation. "If they're this ruthless with no grievance, we'll take one with us," one of the remaining true gods vowed. They surged with desperate power, a golden-winged flare erupting. But a cold, low voice spoke, and their bodies silently dissolved, their souls decomposed. Only their artifacts remained. "Military Lord, we failed," the 10 gray shadows said, bowing. "Continue. Kill any living being that passes here," the low voice ordered. "We must reach Huyang City by the deadline. Today is the last day." "We'll do as ordered," the leader replied. The 10 shadows spread across the region, cutting down anything that trespassed. They guarded something hidden within the core of this area, a small green plant. At its tip bloomed a blue-purple crystalline flower, its fragrance rippling out and disordering the local heaven and earth energies. Beside the plant sat a black-robed figure, eyes fixed on the flower. "I didn't expect to find a ripe blue-purple blood crystal flower on my way to Huyang City," he muttered. "When it's immature, it's ordinary, but when it blooms, the scent affects the soul, and it becomes very conspicuous. It will fully bloom for about 10 days. When it naturally falls, it can be used medicinally. He licked his lips. I heard such a flower can only conceive where God-King blood has irrigated the soil. One flower is worth at least 100,000 cosmic sand. All my treasures together hardly fetch 1,000 or two, he said, obsession in his eyes. If an eternal true God finds this, they'll fight me for it. If it's exposed, Huyang City's army will come and kill me. There were only a few days left before it fell. He would not let any news leak. He'd done his best to conceal it and killed anyone who passed by. Then he frowned and pulled out a communication token. Is something wrong? A deep voice asked, mountain-like in tone. Hey Duomo, why aren't you in Huyang City yet? According to the Marquise's order, today is the last day. You must arrive. Something delayed me, President Zan Yun, the black-robed man said lightly. There shouldn't be anything urgent in Huyang City that can't wait. Huyang City is our branch in Yu country, and we're short on eternal true gods, the voice softened. I won't report your delay, but come as soon as you can. Don't worry, I'll be there in 10 days, he promised. The link cut. He slid the token away and watched the flower, desire burning in his gaze. Military orders had little binding force on eternal true gods. As a core member, he could afford small delays. Right now, nothing mattered more than the blue-purple blood crystal flower. High above, Luo Feng, Morosa, and Mo Yuhu flew through the void toward Huyang City. Luo Feng's senses went taut at the faint blue-purple gleam buried in the distant mountains. He felt a powerful aura concealing an even rarer treasure. His perception, far beyond ordinary eternal true gods thanks to his perfect divine body, pinned it down. There should be an eternal true god hiding there, masking the aura of a rare treasure, he said softly. Heaven-born treasures have no owners. The capable claim them. Thinking that, Luo Feng tucked Mo Yuhu into his star tower first, a precaution to keep her hidden and safe, then adjusted course toward the source of the concealed radiance. Author note, from now on updates will be at 11:30 a.m. every day, 1 chapter per day. I can't update twice daily like before, due to energy and to ensure quality. Please understand. Oh, Morosa let out a small cry of surprise, then quickly collected himself. He smiled innocently and looked off into the distance. Master, are you going to make a move? Do you need my help? Even if Morosa intervened, at most he could unleash the power of an eternal true god. He would never touch any world beast techniques. If I need you, I'll call, Luo Feng replied. He was itching to fight. Ever since ascending to eternal true god, he'd had no worthy opponent. All right. Morosa sounded a little disappointed. He wanted a good fight too. You stay here. I'll go up and take a look. Luo Feng flew closer. From high above, Morosa watched and thought, Master hasn't been an eternal true god long. He hasn't had time to cultivate overly powerful secret techniques. I hope this opponent is strong enough so I can get a chance to act. He was impatient. Even without world beast methods, he had learned many techniques from the great path of destruction. As Luo Feng approached, he noticed a flying boat bearing a true god team entering the area. A void true god rode it along with over a dozen true gods, carefully steering toward Huyang City and avoiding obvious dangers. Suozi, Suoyun, you two will settle in Huyang City from now on, the leading long-haired man instructed. Huyang City has endless true gods. Void true gods are just ordinary citizens there. True gods are insignificant. The two young men nodded dutifully. The long-haired man was the tribe's patriarch, the only void true god among them, and he had once lived in Huyang City for a long time. Be low-key when you get there. Show off your treasures and you'll lose your life in an instant, he warned. Low-key, always low-key. Even if you're the most talented in the tribe, you're still weak now. Yes, Suozi and Suoyun agreed. As ordinary true gods, don't flaunt anything and no one will attack you. Huyang City has laws, to a degree, the patriarch continued. But if you show off, you'll die quietly. The Huyang Guard will never find your killer. Haha, patriarch, you've told us this 100 times. Some members of the crew laughed. The patriarch only nodded. The first thing to do in Huyang City is test your bloodlines thoroughly, then find a secret technique that suits you. Opportunities abound there. Seize them and you might become void true gods. Suozi and Suoyun looked hopeful. They didn't want to spend their lives in the poor tribe where true gods stayed. True gods forever. They wanted to become void true gods and see the wider world. Patriarch, will remember your instructions, Suoyun said. The patriarch nodded, but his expression suddenly hardened. Not good. His aura flared, and he burned his divine body, pouring all his power into stabilizing the flying boat. Dazzling formation layers sprang up across the craft's surface. At the same moment, 10 terrifying figures appeared in the sky, their combined invisible power striking the flying boat. The patriarch's eyes narrowed. Military formation. 10 void true gods? He'd lived in Huyang City before and had rich experience. After his loved ones had died there, he'd retreated to the wilderness and eventually become the tribe's leader, drawing weaker true gods to him. 10 void true gods attacking like this was no ordinary ambush. The 10 attackers were military elites, the personal guards of Commander Haiduomo. They expected the flying boat to fall quickly, but the Patriarch's formations held. Even if one layer broke, another rose in its place. The attackers were surprised. Void true gods who could resist their combined assault, even briefly, were rare. Finish him quickly, a voice ordered. No delays. Explosions rocked the air as the 10 figures poured their power into the assault. The Patriarch, however, remained composed until he realized just how desperate their attack was. 10 military powerhouses burning their divine bodies to the death? I'm just passing by. He couldn't fathom the hatred that would make them risk everything now. Inside the boat, the dozen or so true gods froze. Suozi and Suoyun were bewildered. One moment they'd been full of longing for Huyang City, the next they faced imminent death. Many of the tribe's elites accepted their fate calmly. They'd hunted exotic beasts and made trips to the city before. The Patriarch, resigned, looked at his people with regret. We can't escape. We're likely to die here. He prepared himself. Then a sudden change in the air made everyone look up. A man with black hair, dark gold horns, and profound eyes appeared out of thin air. The 10 shadow attackers recoiled and fled at once. An eternal true god, someone cried. The Patriarch reacted instantly. He flew out of the boat and bowed deeply. Greetings, Shang Zun, Venerable One. Luo Feng glanced at him, inclined his head slightly, then swept a hand. The entire flying boat and its passengers were collected and withdrawn into a pocket of space under his control. He might have to engage the eternal true god lurking further away. A stray ripple of the coming fight could kill these weak true gods, and Luo Feng would not allow that. He looked up toward the powerful presence at a distance, the place the 10 shadows had retreated to. I've already seen you, he said with a smile. The black-robed figure standing in the distance ground his teeth. He was strong. By bloodline cultivation, he had reached the 8th stage of the eternal, making him among the most formidable eternal true gods. He had been carefully preparing to gather a rare treasure, the blue-purple blood crystal flower, which blooms for only 10 days. Now another eternal true god had appeared, and even detected the aura of that treasure. The worst had happened. This is my cultivation ground, the black-robed figure said, releasing a terrible pressure. His voice was low and cold. This passing divine monarch, leave. Divine monarch was a respectful title on the origin continent. Luo Feng only chuckled. How come I picked up the aura of a rare heaven and earth treasure? The black-robed man's face was dark with anger. He'd tried to conceal his aura, but the flower's powerful presence was impossible to hide without Chaos Master-level concealment. He had already lost patience. He had counted on scaring off any casual passerby. He had not counted on an eternal true god who actually wanted the treasure. I found it first, the black-robed man said. Anyone who dares to snatch it, I'll kill. He was gambling that Luo Feng wouldn't risk acting, but he didn't know Luo Feng's circumstances. Luo Feng was cash poor and in desperate need of resources. He craved treasures that could be exchanged for supplies. And he had been lonely for too long. He longed for true combat. You're forcing my hand, the black-robed man murmured. Around him, the air darkened. The 10 shadow guards at his side fell silent, then disintegrated into nothingness. They died almost incredulously. You killed your subordinates? Luo Feng asked, surprised. They learned about the treasure. They deserved to die. The black-robed man's voice was calm. They could have lived a few more days. I meant to kill them after the matter was settled. But you came. For ordinary treasures, Haiduomo could withstand covetousness. He had patience. But the blue-purple blood crystal flower was too perilous. Once exposed, it would bring an unmanageable tide of trouble. Duomo had decided the only safe method was to kill anyone who approached. He would not spare even his own guards. "Tell me your name." "An eternal true god is worthy of remembrance," Duomo demanded. "Since you're about to die, there's no point in telling you much." Luo Feng's reply was cool. Duomo laughed, furious. No eternal true god should be underestimated. He'd been careful for a reason. But confidence remained. As an eternal 8th stage powerhouse, he was one of the strongest among eternal true gods, good enough to be entrusted with matters around Huyang City. He unleashed a premeditated killing technique. Luo Feng felt an unfamiliar law origin being leveraged. Black-silver cones formed out of nothing, their surfaces etched with dense glyphs and flowing patterns. They moved with space-distorting speed, making faint ripples in the flow of time. Luo Feng's perfect divine body adjusted. Although his apparent frame wasn't large, his body was adaptable and contained immense spatial depth. His small universe perpetually condensed divine power, which fed his true god heart and gradually enlarged his divine body. Still, the first cone, half his height, struck his chest like two mountains colliding at hypervelocity. Bang! The blow shoved him back a step and made the void tremble. More cones appeared, strike after strike, already surrounding him the moment they formed. Some hit his head, some his back, some his face. 19 cones attacked in coordinated salvos, their bombardments relentless. Each impact poured destructive force into his body, aiming to shred his divine body, while a strange toxin seeped from the cones into his flesh and eroded his consciousness. Law poison? Luo Feng recognized it, and a flash of excitement lit his eyes. It had been too long since he'd met such an interesting opponent. Chapter 7, One-Sided. The law source he controls must be one that carries a potent poison, Luo Feng guessed. The eternal true gods native to the origin continent, cultivated by absorbing exotic beast blood essences, so many of them mastered unusual talents and rare law sources. 19 sharp cones had just bombarded him from all sides, sending him stumbling and battered, wounds flashing across his body and healing as quickly. His rate of divine power consumption could not keep up with the replenishment from his small universe, which spanned 1,000 billion light-years. "He took my law poison and still withstood my blackwater cones," the black-robed figure thought, alarmed. Duomo's two greatest techniques included a poison law, mysterious, corrosive, able to destroy divine bodies and erode consciousness. The weak died instantly, and even the strong saw their abilities weakened. He did not know that Luo Feng possessed a perfect divine body. The law poison could not shake that at all. As for his soul, Luo Feng had the Star Tower safeguarding his true god heart and a soul will that had reached the peak of chaos. This poison could not touch it. "Is that all you have for poisoning?" Luo Feng smiled, and a blade appeared in his hand, the embryonic God King weapon, the Blood Shadow Blade. Dark with a touch of blood-red light, it thrummed with the creation and destruction law source. Gray blade lights erupted from the void, sweeping outward and forcing those sharp cones back. He unleashed the Life and Death Blade, a single move from Breaking World 9 blades. During his passage through the Reincarnation passage, after acquiring the vast inheritances from two lineages, Luo Feng had to choose what fit him. Besides the two core inheritances of the Duan Donghe lineage, Broken Extinction and Donghua, which were mandatory, he selected a body refinement secret art, the Chaos Great Strength Diagram, and his primary blade technique, Breaking World 9 blades. He also chose 9 Nightmares Realm for the origin ancestor. But time had been short. The eternal true god-level portions of Broken Extinction, Donghua, and the Chaos Great Strength Diagram remained uncultivated. Of Breaking World 9 blades, he had comprehended only one blade, the Life and Death Blade, which matched well with the creation and destruction source he possessed. "You survived my law poison and now dare be arrogant?" Duomo laughed. His figure twisted and swelled until he towered like a mountain. Scales shone across a burly torso with 4 thick legs, 8 dark green arms, and 3 lizard-like heads. Each claw gripped a black long spear. Poisonous breath poured from the 3 mouths, spreading a toxic mist across a 10,000-mile radius, withering foliage. The 3 heads fixed on Luo Feng and emitted a low, menacing growl. "Why don't you show your true form?" You expect only that? Luo Feng said, blade in one hand, looking up at the Colossus. The eternal true gods of the origin continent usually kept a humanoid form in daily life. Their height was commonly about 1 ren, the basic unit of length on the origin continent, and the ancient Yuan were worshipped for their humanoid forms. God-king level beings generally remained humanoid, and most races adopted a humanoid form. But in battle, they revealed true forms to fully unleash their strength. An infinite divine body allowed size to change at will. Even in small form, one could still exert full power. Luo Feng was the same. Then die. The 3 heads snarled. With mountain-crossing strides, He Duomo closed the distance. His 8 long spears enveloped heaven and earth and descended on Luo Feng. Luo Feng had already shifted into a gray blade light. One towering figure and one tiny blade, then they struck together. The blade light carried the profundity of the creation and destruction law, the might of a god-king level blade embryo, and the tremendous divine power of Luo Feng's perfect divine body. Even newly an eternal true god, his blade strike was terrifying. The spear's force was equally formidable. He Duomo had long been an eternal true god, cultivating secret arts and expending vast resources to reach the eternal 8th realm. The spears demonstrated his deep foundation. Blade light met spear. Both Luo Feng's tiny form and He Duomo's gigantic body were shoved back. He Duomo's expression hardened. No wonder he dared to fight for that rare treasure. He's got some strength. His 8 black spears coordinated in a fierce, perfect attack. In single spear clashes, Luo Feng's life and death blade could be matched, but 8 spears moving as one multiplied the threat. This was He Duomo's other great art, the Huchon spear technique. He had cultivated it tens of thousands of eras and forged an 8-armed divine body to use it. As the Huchon spear technique fully unfurled, long spear shadows filled the sky and ground around Luo Feng. The only powerful blade technique I have now is this single move, the life and death blade, Luo Feng admitted inwardly. Having only just become an eternal true god and rushed to the origin continent, he had little time to study inheritances. With the blood shadow blade, he kept using the life and death blade, but the 8 coordinated spears pressed him hard. Now and then a spear found its mark, cleaving him and sending him flying into the earth. What's this? His divine body is highly refined, but his blade technique is so ordinary? He Duomo wondered and grew even more cautious. When facing another eternal true god, he dared not be careless. He Duomo did not know that Luo Feng's divine body had been inherently powerful the moment he became an eternal true god. He had not yet had time to cultivate body refinement secret arts. His blade technique was good, and the life and death blade was formidable, but not extensively developed. Maybe a trick, He Duomo thought. He never trusted what an enemy showed at face value. Burn divine power. He Duomo's aura flared as he poured divine power into burning, his strength, speed, and other attributes surging. A vast, crushing aura rolled outward. Luo Feng burned his divine power in kind. Broken extinction, one of the Duan Donghe lineage's 3 ultimate techniques, was too profound. Luo Feng had not yet refined the ideal method to burn divine power at the eternal true god level. His way of burning was crude compared to He Duomo's. His power didn't rise much. Maybe he hasn't mastered the proper burning secret, He Duomo suspected. Still, he redoubled the spear assault, and the spear shadows grew even more fearsome. Although both burned divine power, Luo Feng was clearly at a disadvantage. He was suppressed and battered, his wounds deeper. "Master, shall I intervene?" the world beast Morosa asked in Luo Feng's mind. Morosa had observed the fight from afar, hiding his aura. "I'm enjoying this. Don't interfere," Luo Feng replied telepathically. Despite the blows, his perfect divine body and near-endless divine power let him take the punishment. He delighted in the exchange at the eternal true god level. He Duomo dominated, but he could not destroy Luo Feng's body. This surprised him. What a powerful body refinement! Then let him see my killing move. Huchon spear technique, myriad realms returned to one. He Duomo poured burning divine power into his 8 spears. The heavens and earth warped. A world-destroying spear struck Luo Feng's head and blasted him downward. As he fell, spear after spear, thousands in an instant, hammered him. Each blow was merciless. Luo Feng could only endure, his divine power being inexorably annihilated. In less than a breath while plummeting, he endured thousands of strikes. The endless, terrifying forces flowed into his body, shattering his divine power. He slammed into the earth. Aftershocks toppled trees and shattered rocks. For 100 million miles, exotic beasts fell silent. The impact gouged a huge basin from the land. Luo Feng lay at its center. Ugh! Luo Feng blinked, then sat up in the pit. Master was beaten so badly. Morosa, still observing, could not hide his worry. Do you really not want me to step in? No need. I'm fine, Luo Feng sent back, then looked up at the towering Heiduomo. The three-headed beast peered down at the tiny figure, astonishment written across each face. He's still alive? Chapter 8. You are proud enough. Burning his divine power to unleash the killing move, myriad realms returned to one. Thousands of spear strikes at once, all power concentrated, was a huge burden. That technique consumed about 10% of his divine power. Heiduomo knew that if Luo Feng took the full force of it head-on, his divine body would disintegrate. Yet this unfamiliar eternal true god actually endured it. I can't drag this out. Heiduomo's 3 heads darkened. To kill him, I must shatter his divine body in one blow. There's only one way left, the forbidden move of the Huchon spear technique. I refuse to believe he can withstand that. Without hesitation, Heiduomo unleashed the forbidden move. In Luo Feng's vision, Heiduomo's majestic form seemed to explode as massive divine power boiled over. He burned 50% of his divine body's power in an instant. When an ordinary eternal true god let loose such force, it usually scattered and became difficult to control. Heiduomo, however, deliberately concentrated the burning power into the forbidden Huchon move. Huchon destruction. Heiduomo's 3 heads grew even colder as he swung 8 long spears. Infinite divine power poured into them. The phantom images of the spears danced and merged into a black pillar-like shadow, so vast that even Heiduomo himself seemed to sink into it. The black pillar tilted downward. The Huchon destruction was Heiduomo's desperate gambit. If it failed, he would flee with all his might. Amazing. Luo Feng felt the sense of annihilation, everything returning to chaos, wash over him. His move already incorporates a fragment of the chaos conception. After long dominance, encountering such a powerful opponent stirred Luo Feng's blood. He swung his blade to block the descending pillar. On impact, his body convulsed. The pillar's full power transmitted into him and detonated. Even with a perfect divine body, Luo Feng felt an extraordinary force erase a large portion of his divine power. Mid-air, his body flared with dazzling light. The explosion sent shockwaves farther and stronger than the aftereffects of the earlier myriad realms returned to one. Wounds appeared across his flesh. Heiduomo stared, stunned. His divine body hasn't collapsed? The forbidden move had consumed half his divine power. After his prior losses, his divine body had only 30% left. He was far weaker and could not afford another forbidden technique. All of Luo Feng's wounds sealed automatically. He looked at Heiduomo. Do you have anything stronger? The towering Heiduomo's heart trembled. He fled without hesitation. Like a phantom, he tore through the night sky, vanishing into the distance. The blue-purple blood crystal flower would take a few more days to ripen and fall. Heiduomo planned to go to Huyang City for backup. She Country's branch there had many experts. With superior numbers, he believed they could handle this eternal true god. Luo Feng merely watched. An invisible ripple swept past Heiduomo in flight. The fleeing figure blurred as an endless black mist vortex engulfed him. The vortex devoured Heiduomo's will. Even an eternal true god tempered for countless years possessed a powerful will, but the vortex's devouring was horrific. It annihilated his will almost on contact. Heiduomo's body slumped mid-air on a ballistic arc and crashed heavily to the ground, knocked unconscious. I couldn't finish him in close combat, Luo Feng admitted as he stepped closer and stared at the mountain-like form. He had had to rely on the Nine Nightmares realm's will secret technique, the Nightmare, to take him down. The Nine Nightmares realm was a legacy of illusions containing 3 will secret techniques. To aid Origin Ancestor, Luo Feng had cultivated it to the eternal true god level. In subtlety, the realm's will techniques were ordinary compared to the Li Yuan art, but with Luo Feng's Chaos Master Peak will, the seemingly simple Nightmare became formidable. Forcing me to use a will technique, you're worthy of pride. Luo Feng's blood shadow blade swept. A hazy shadow pierced He Duomo's defenseless form and struck the true god heart. One strike destroyed it. He Duomo died in a daze. A star in the night sky dimmed. That was He Duomo's small universe collapsing. The night sky flickered with countless stars. Each dimmed star marked a life snuffed out. For the vast origin continent, the death of an eternal true god was a small ripple in an ocean. This fight was not easy. Luo Feng touched his face. He had been battered, struck many times. I'm still weak in close combat. From start to finish, he had relied on his perfect divine body alone. Body refining secrets, protection techniques, blade forms, movement arts. He only knew one move, the life and death blade. He immediately turned his attention to the exposed blue-purple blood crystal flower. Its aura, no longer masked by He Duomo, was spreading. Blue-purple blood crystal flower. No wonder an eternal true god fought to the death for it. He concealed the flower with thought, an invisible force perfectly masking its aura. His concealment surpassed He Duomo's. It was flawless. While cloaking the area around the flower, he also hid the broad battlefield. Even a passing true god would sense nothing unusual. Whoosh! The simple-minded Morosa flew in from afar and landed beside Luo Feng, eyes wide as he stared at He Duomo's corpse. Master, you used a will technique. You used one on me back then too. Will is part of my strength, Luo Feng said. The fight was totally one-sided, Morosa exclaimed, then clapped a hand over his mouth. He peered greedily at the weapons and treasures scattered nearby. This 8-armed eternal true god has so many weapons. If you want them, take them, Luo Feng said. 2 long spears are enough for me. Morosa waved, and 2 black spears slid into his grasp. He danced them around, delighted. At his level, weapons rarely outmatched his body. Finding eternal-level arms was the real prize. With weapons, my strength will at least double, he chirped. Luo Feng tossed a dark green jade bottle to Morosa. Inside floated over 100 grains of cosmic sand, each containing a nascent universe, along with neatly cut chaos crystal pieces and piles of colorful chaos stone. Morosa counted eagerly. 122 grains of cosmic sand, 30,000 pieces of chaos crystal, and heaps of chaos stone. He was pleased. On Origin Continent, 1 grain of cosmic sand equaled 10,000 chaos crystals and was worth 100 million chaos stone. Cosmic sand was the largest currency unit. How come he doesn't have armor? Morosa asked. Armor is much more expensive than spears, Luo Feng replied. He Duomo's wealth had mainly bought weapons and legacies. 8 long spears alone were worth 8,000 cosmic sand. Master, can I have his corpse? Morosa eyed He Duomo hungrily. He relished devouring small universes and the bodies of super experts to grow stronger. I'll give it to you after I study it. Luo Feng gathered the spoils. He Duomo's haul was decent. The 8 spears were worth about 8,000 cosmic sand, 19 black water cones around 2,000 cosmic sand, plus some cosmic sand he carried and exotic beast materials. The total came to roughly 15,000 cosmic sand, part of which Luo Feng ceded to Morosa. Origin Continent mostly uses bloodline cultivation, Luo Feng muttered as he examined the corpse. The bloodline within was indeed powerful, but bloodline methods could at best reach the Chaos Master level. To attain God King, one had to comprehend chaos laws. Records from Master Zuo Shenke and the Duan Donghe lineage showed that among Chaos Masters on Origin Continent, roughly half relied on bloodlines, while the other half comprehended chaos laws. None at the God King level relied on bloodline. This corpse is yours. Luo Feng glanced at Morosa. Hurry into the Star Tower. Yes, yes! Morosa excitedly hauled the massive corpse into the Star Tower to feast, the finest meal since I was born. On a high level of the Star Tower, Morosa salivated over the corpse and began to absorb its immense divine power. Outside, Luo Feng sat cross-legged beside the blue-purple blood crystal flower, waiting in silence. The flower's blooming period lasted only 10 days in total. There were probably only a few days left. Luo Feng's mood brightened. The value of the flower far exceeded the spoils from He Duomo's death. In Huyang City, the Tianyun Tower pierced the clouds. On its top floor, President Zan Yun sat alone, gazing at the city shrouded in mist. He flipped an octagonal token into his palm and scanned it. Through it, he could sense the other 12 eternal true gods of Shi country's Huyang branch. One of them had vanished from the link. The token, bestowed by the Marquise, could detect them anywhere on Origin continent. Losing contact usually meant death. He Duomo dead. Zhang Yun's heart lurched. Chapter 9. Arrival at Huyang City. He died before he even reached Huyang City? Shangzun Venable. Zhang Yun frowned. Where did he die? How did he die? I don't know any of this. This must be reported immediately. He did not hesitate. With a single thought, he drew down a small universe. Clouds swirled around Tianyun Tower and cloaked the entire top floor. When eternal true gods invoke a thought, a universe is born. The descending cosmos usually blends seamlessly into the surroundings, masking the action and controlling the nearby area. Venerable Shangzun rose and performed a respectful secret technique. A crimson flame flared into being, exuding an aura of calamity and shadow. Marquise, Venerable Shangzun said with deference, my communication token can no longer sense Hai Duomo. His life token is shattered. He is dead. The crimson flame's voice was grave as it radiated that ominous aura. He died as soon as he reached Huyang City. Was it an expert dispatched by Yu Country, or someone sent by Ninjiang Marcus? Shi Country coveted its neighbors, and its relationship with Yu Country was strained. Covert conflicts were common. The death of a subordinate would not be unheard of. He hadn't even reached Huyang City, Venerable Shangzun quickly explained. Oh, the crimson flame queried. He should have arrived by now. He Duomo was due today, Venerable Shangzun replied respectfully. I contacted him earlier to urge him. He said he'd be delayed a few days, and nothing more. The crimson flame said, if he said he'd arrive in a few days, he should still be within Zhujiangchao's state. Investigate thoroughly and find out how he died. Yes, Venerable Shangzun bowed. Marcus, I'm a little short on experts here. You won't be for long. The crimson flame vanished. Venerable Shangzun exhaled, relieved. He Duomo, that fool, lost his life on the road. He sat back in a leisurely manner. Whoever killed him must be extraordinarily powerful. I can do nothing. I trust the Marquise will not blame me. To serve a Chaos Master and come to his country was a huge risk. Venerable Shangzun expected great rewards for doing so. He had no desire to dive into a kill-or-be-killed situation if he could avoid it. There was clearly a powerful killer behind Hai Duomo's death, and investigating it would be dangerous. Venerable Shangzun had survived so long by picking his battles carefully. Under the night sky, Luo Feng sat cross-legged beside the blue-purple blood crystal flower. The captured spaceship could be freed later. For now, he needed the flower for cultivation. This was his first real encounter with an eternal true god native to the Origin continent since he arrived, and it exposed many gaps in his skills. He had only recently become an eternal true god, and there were secret techniques he hadn't even started to learn. In close combat, he had been completely outclassed. He had survived only because of his perfect divine body. If I meet an expert skilled in trapping opponents, I could be finished in 2 or 3 moves, he thought. Then I'll have to rely on will secret techniques or mechanical stream secret treasures. Long-term, his opponents would likely be on the level of the 3 Shi country lords. So I need to strengthen my advantages, cultivate Liyuan art, and raise my will to a higher plane, Luo Feng resolved. And I must advance my major realm, break through to the Chaos realm. To become a Chaos Master, I must comprehend Chaos laws. I'll both actively comprehend the laws and learn secret techniques related to them. Practice would reveal the fundamental mysteries of Chaos laws. Combining practice with theory would accelerate mastery. The body-refining secret techniques he'd chosen, Chaos Great Strength Diagram and Breaking World 9 Blades, both led toward the Chaos realm. He wasn't short on techniques, only on resources. For a while, I'll focus on Chaos Great Strength Diagram, Breaking World 9 Blades, and Li Yuan art, and secondarily, cultivate Broken Extinction, Donghua, and the 9 Nightmares realm. Those were his priorities. The 3 major inheritances of the Duan Donghe lineage were effective but auxiliary, designed to help successors preserve their lives. Real resources he would have to obtain himself. Chaos Great Strength Diagram required refining the divine body like a secret treasure, demanding vast resources. He wondered how long the blue-purple blood crystal flower would sustain his cultivation. The key to the divine body was the true God heart. As long as the true God heart remained intact, one could freely refine the divine body. Generations of strong beings on the origin continent had therefore created body-refining techniques, and unsurprisingly, a stronger base divine body meant better results. With his perfect divine body, Luo Feng had naturally chosen a body-refining path. The resources for body-refining secret techniques I'll have to purchase once I reach Huyang City, he decided. Then he bent his mind back to Breaking World 9 Blades and resumed his comprehension. In one of the Star Tower's sealed spaces, a spaceship floated suspended in a gray, sealed void. The Patriarch and more than 10 true gods inside stared at the endless gray around them. Space and time felt frozen, and escape was impossible. "What is Venerable Shangzun going to do with us now?" someone asked. "Will he use us as test subjects? I heard many true gods who go to Huyang City end up as experimental subjects. Is that what's happening to us?" The team's true gods exchanged uneasy conjectures. They were powerless to resist. The two young true gods, Suo Zi and Suo Yun, listened anxiously to their elders' fears. The Patriarch smiled calmly. "If not for Venerable Shangzun, we'd all be dead already. He saved us. If he needs anything from us, this is our chance." In Huyang City, many true gods beg to serve eternal true gods but never get noticed. He had dealt with eternal true gods before and knew their temperament. High and mighty, they seldom harmed weaklings they had spared. "Wait patiently," the Patriarch told them, and the clan fell into uneasy but resigned quiet. Day and night turned. A day on the origin continent stretched extraordinarily long. A single day here felt like a year back on his home world, Earth. Luo Feng cultivated beside the blue-purple blood crystal flower for 3 of those long days, gaining some insights into Breaking World 9 Blades, Liyuan art, and broken extinction. One bright morning, as white clouds drifted by and a few brilliant stars still lingered in the sky, the flower's scent deepened until Luo Feng's soul consciousness felt a surge of pleasure. He turned to see the blue-purple blood crystal flower swaying, its petals glowing faintly. "It's finally maturing," he said. After it gave off its strongest fragrance, the glow faded and the blossom gently detached from its stem, falling toward the ground. Luo Feng waved his hand. Under the protection of his divine power, the flower floated before him. "I heard this bloom is excellent for bloodline cultivation," he murmured. "But I'm not native to the origin continent. I can only comprehend laws, not enter bloodline methods." Those who reached the origin continent after reincarnating through the 3,000 primordial universes could only comprehend laws. Only natives of the origin continent, whose special bloodlines lay dormant within them, could undertake bloodline cultivation. Luo Feng boxed the blue-purple blood crystal flower carefully and rose. "It's time to go to Huyang City." He stepped and passed through space. He summoned Morosa and Mo Yuhu. Mo Yuhu, continue to lead the way. "Yes." Mo Yuhu did not ask further and resumed guiding them. Luo Feng glanced at Morosa. "You look pleased. Did you gain much?" "Yes, quite a bit," Morosa transmitted joyfully. "Master, if such fortune came 1,000 times, I estimate I might stand a chance of reaching the Chaos Realm." Luo Feng glanced and ignored the wildly optimistic boast. Devouring 1,000 eternal true gods, such fantasies were amusing. "You should also absorb the power of heaven and earth," he said. The origin continent's worldly energy condensed into a mist. Absorbing it had beneficial effects. They flew on. After some time, Luo Feng's senses sharpened, and he saw something ahead that made his eyes widen. Even with his perfect divine body, the observation range was vast. At the end of their flight path lay an impossibly majestic city. Its walls rose higher than any mountain he had seen since arriving on the origin continent. Haiduomo's true body would be less than a 10,000th of that height by comparison. Under veils of clouds condensed from the world's power, the colossal city appeared and vanished like a dream. Luo Feng couldn't make out the end of the walls. Even after hearing how enormous cities here are, seeing one in person still shocks me, he thought. "Venerable Shangzun, we are about to arrive at Huyang City." Mo Yuhu, who had also glimpsed the outline in the distance, pointed ahead. The entire Zhujiangchao state has only 3 large cities. Each is built on chaos ruins and reinforced by experts of the mechanical faction, extremely stable fortress cities. As they drew closer, Mo Yuhu indicated the approach. "Ahead is the East City Gate of Huyang City. See those 2 colossal objects suspended above the gate? They are two of the Huyang 10 legions, the Tengjiao Legion and the Jinyu Legion. Luo Feng looked up. Above the south side of the city wall hung an enormous green plant with countless branches, along which scores of true gods were moving like ants. Above the north side floated a golden regular octahedron, massive and cutting a perfect geometric silhouette in the air. Beams of light served as pathways for true gods entering and exiting. The giant plant and the golden octahedron were two of the 10 legions that guarded Huyang City. They approached the city, its scale and the organized presence of legions announcing a metropolis of unimaginable power and order. Chapter 10. Purchase a Home. The Tengjiao Legion, the Golden Jade Legion, Luo Feng said with a sigh. Each legion commands a super-large mechanical secret treasure. His slaying Wu wings were a single-unit mechanical secret treasure. The two enormous machines before him were Legion-class mechanical secret treasures, far more valuable and requiring vast numbers of true gods to operate. Mo Yuhu explained, each of the Huyang 10 legions is led by an eternal true god, supported by many void true gods and countless true gods. With those super-large mechanical secret treasures, their power can be pooled, approaching, at least in part, the level of the Chaos Realm. Luo Feng nodded. His slaying Wu wings could, to some extent, influence chaos, but in raw power a single unit was far weaker than a Legion-class treasure. Even the ordinary soldiers in the Huyang 10 legions must be at least 9th stage true gods, Mo Yuhu added ruefully. The 10 legions and the Huyang Guard together are the real deterrent for all of Zhujiang City. Luo Feng nodded and then waved. He released the flying ship he had rescued earlier, along with the tribal chief and the dozen or so true gods aboard. The chief and his men stared at the distant, towering silhouette of Zhujiang City and bowed respectfully. Greetings, Shangzun. Zhujiang City is up ahead, Luo Feng said. This is your destination, right? Before he rescued them, Luo Feng had overheard their plans. They had indeed been heading for Zhujiang City. Yes, we were, the chief said. We thank Shangzun for saving our lives. Let us part ways here. Luo Feng nodded. He then led Morosa and Mo Yuhu toward Zhujiang City's vast east gate. The chief and his tribe remained in place, astonished and relieved. I thought we were going to be taken as test subjects, one of them muttered. We thought we were done for, another said. They were all grateful. Who would choose servitude over freedom? The chief addressed his people and smiled. We were lucky to meet Shangzun. Once we enter the city, we'll first help Suozi and Suoyun apply for residences and then buy what the tribe needs. We must leave before nightfall. Non-residents had to leave the city before dark. One day on the origin continent equaled roughly a year on Earth, so there was plenty of time for shopping. Yes, the tribesman replied. Suozi, Suoyun, once you settle in Zhujiang City, the city lord's mansion will charge 1 chaos crystal per epoch as a living fee. Some darkness factions will also collect about 1 chaos crystal. Once you become void true gods, the city lord's mansion fee is waived. Void true gods, eternal true gods, and above were exempt from city residence fees. After all, they were the pillars that kept a great city running. Do the darkness factions still take their cut after you become void true gods? Suozi asked. They'll take even more, the chief said. You'll understand once you've spent time in the city. The city lord's mansion doesn't run everything here. Suozi and Suoyun listened obediently. At the chief's command, the tribe boarded their ship and flew toward the east gate. The east gate of Zhujiang City was immense, wide enough to let countless true gods and flying vessels pass at once. So many cultivators of different races come and go here every day, Luo Feng observed, fascinated. It was his first visit to such a large city on the origin continent. Everything felt new. Some are even walking, Morosa said, surprised. Besides the many flying ships, a steady stream of true gods moved into the city on foot. Not everyone can afford a flying vessel, Luo Feng said. Spatial suppression on the origin continent was intense. True gods were generally kept small. If they grew too large, their bones and bodies would not withstand the pressure. Under such conditions, most true gods could not fly, unaided. They needed flying secret treasures. Only after reaching the void true god realm and mastering the void could one fly independently. What's that? Luo Feng pointed. A dark green winged dragon craft cut through the sky toward the gate. Amid the traffic of flying vessels, it stood out, radiating a terrifying aura. That is a mechanical treasure called the Qi-winged dragon, operated by an elite squad of the Huyang Legion, Mo Yuhu said with a smile. It requires more than 100 void true gods to operate and demands enormous willpower from the squad leader. With it, they can even contend with an eternal true god. It's extremely good at evasion. As the Chai-winged dragon passed, other craft gave it room. Locals knew it had an extraordinary pedigree. Inside the craft, armored figures surrounded a robust woman who wore 4 purple curved horns like a crown and had purple flames burning in her eyes. Longtime residents could identify her at a glance as a descendant of the Mo Li clan, one of Zhujiang City's top families. Finally back in Zhujiang City, a woman with a fluffy tail next to her breathed out. Out in the wilderness, I was always worried about powerful exotic beasts. It's so much safer here. Sister Diorong, with senior brother Gao Wushui here, what do we have to fear? The horned woman replied. Gao Wushui stood not far off, solid as a bronze statue. Though unassuming in looks, his name carried weight. As the favored junior disciple of Mo Li Xiao, supreme commander of the Huyang Legion, Gao Wushui was already a 10th stage void true god at a young age. Many believed he could reach eternal true god status at any time. You can't be careless in the wilderness, Gao Wushui said, cold but level. If you fall into a trap set by an eternal true god-level exotic beast, there might be no time to escape. You've never led us astray, senior brother Gao Wushui, the horned woman said. The fluffy-tailed woman teased, Sister Feiyun, I know your senior brother Gao Wushui is amazing. Gao Wushui's expression shifted as he scanned the skies. As the will of the Qi-winged dragon, his perception was keen. From a distance in the wilderness, he could detect eternal true god presences. He now sensed an unfamiliar eternal true god. There's an unfamiliar eternal true god, he said, the man with the dark golden horns. The two women's faces tightened. In Zhujiang City, no matter how noble a family, the eternal true gods were the ultimate arbiters. An unknown eternal true god could mean danger, someone passing through who might casually kill prominent descendants and leave without a trace. The city lord's mansion might not even pursue it. The highest military power in Zhujiang City was still only eternal true god level. Zhujiang City is where Ninjiang Marcus resides, Gao Wushui said. Most eternal true gods don't want to live under the direct watch of a chaos master. They avoid it. But as a prosperous trading city, powerful people gather here, so the number of eternal true gods is higher. Descendants of great families could move freely in the city, but an unfamiliar eternal true god was always a threat. Luo Feng, Morosa, and Mo Yuhu had already flown inside the city. What an immense place, Morosa exclaimed. The city stretched into the mists, mountains and buildings rising, some structures larger even than the peaks themselves. Luo Feng, however, was reading the city's aura. He nodded. Zhujiang City's grand array is active. It isolates space. To enter or leave, you must pass through the gates. The high skies are all sealed. Morosa looked up and agreed. The spatial seal is intense. You can't traverse the void inside Zhujiang City. Mo Yuhu added, that's why everyone inside must fly slowly. If someone commits a crime, they can't escape quickly, perfect for catching troublemakers. Only the Huyang Guard and the Huyang 10 legions can traverse the void within the city. Luo Feng smiled. It all sounded impressive. An eternal true god could still overturn many things, but the array and the guard were formidable. Do you know where to buy a residence? Luo Feng asked Mo Yuhu. I'll lead the way, Mo Yuhu said eagerly. Returning to Zhujiang City with the treasure intact had put him in high spirits. They flew for a while, slowly, as the city demanded, until they arrived at a colossal 3-tiered palace. The first layer bustled with true gods coming and going. The second layer had only occasional visitors, while the topmost third layer sat silent and forbidding. All residences in Zhujiang City are registered at this Chaos Hall, Mo Yuhu explained. The first layer is for true gods. They can apply for a residence for free, but must pay 1 chaos crystal per epoch as living fees. Luo Feng nodded. With a city this large, providing cave dwellings for true gods was easy. The steady trickle of fees supported the city's expenses. The city lord's mansion used the funds to run the city, support the 10 legions and the Huyang Guard, pay officials, and maintain the arrays. Some tribute flowed up to Ninjiang Marquis and the Lord of Yu country, Countless true gods were a major source of the country's wealth. The second layer is for void true gods. Void true gods must purchase their residences, Mo Yu-hu continued. The third layer is for eternal true gods. Luo Feng led Morosa and Mo Yu-hu to the highest tier. The third layer of the Chaos Hall was vast and solemn. As they entered, two officials appeared almost immediately. Their eyes shone with interest, and their demeanor was deferential. "Greetings, God Lord," the two officials said warmly. Morosa and Mo Yu-hu, their auras carefully concealed, appeared to the officials as little more than attendants. "I plan to reside temporarily in Zhujiang City and need a dwelling," Luo Feng said. Chapter 11, Rating Divine Lord, the plump official announced. "The residences we Haiyang City prepare for eternal true gods are all in the ring belt surrounding the Chaos ruins. There, the perception of the Chaos laws is clearest." Large cities attracted eternal true gods for precisely that reason, the Chaos ruins. Near them, the Chaos laws manifested most distinctly, and the ruins condensed vast quantities of Chaos crystals and Chaos stones. All the Chaos wealth of the Origin continent originated from those places. "Please see," the plump official continued, and a 3D model of Huyang City appeared in the hall. Dozens of cave dwellings in the ring belt were marked. If one cave dwelling is too small, you can buy several and combine them into a super large estate, he chuckled. "Many prominent clans here have done just that." "I'll take this one." Luo Feng selected a relatively small cave dwelling. The full information displayed at once: 200,000 kilometers long and wide, a small mountain, 128,000 kilometers high, elegant lakes and rivers, and over 1,000 pavilions and halls. Beneath it lay an underground grand hall 100,000 kilometers across, full of intricate mechanisms and layered formations, clearly a place for secluded cultivation. This cave dwelling is on the small side. When an eternal true god reveals his true form to practice secret techniques, it might be a bit cramped, the plump official warned. "That's enough," Luo Feng smiled. An eternal true god indeed needed room to reveal a true form, but his divine body could contract at will. Cultivating in a smaller form would not hinder him. If he ever fully expanded, even the largest cave dwelling would be too small. "The purchase price for this Chaos Armor 913 cave dwelling is 500 cosmic sand," the thinner official announced. Luo Feng waved his hand. 500 cosmic sand floated into view at the side. He'd chosen a smaller dwelling because the cosmic sand He Duomo had left him was limited. He could not afford anything larger. Besides, with only him and Morosa living there, it wasn't necessary. "May the Divine Lord tell us his esteemed name?" the thinner official asked. "Luo He," Luo Feng said. "He used a false name to prevent ancestor Ziyue from tracing him. All information recorded." The thinner official handed a token to Luo Feng. "From this moment on, this Chaos Armor 913 cave dwelling belongs to the Divine Lord." "Good." Luo Feng accepted the token and left with Morosa and Mo Yu-hu. The two officials saw them respectfully to the hall entrance and watched them fly away. "Report quickly to the city lord's mansion," the plump official urged. "Eternal true gods who openly purchase residences like this generally have no ill intent," the thinner official added as he transmitted detailed information. After they left the Chaos Hall, "Mo Yu-hu, you've worked hard guiding us these past few days. If you run into trouble in the future, send me a message." Luo Feng smiled and gave Mo Yu-hu a communication imprint. The younger man was surprised and delighted. "It is my honor to serve Shangzun," he said, recording the imprint and immediately contacting Luo Feng. The range of those ordinary comm tokens was limited, only slightly larger than Huyang City, but Luo Feng smiled inwardly. The man before him was only a void true god, but he had served them as a guide for days. Luo Feng didn't like to take advantage of others. "Kid, hope to see you again," Morosa chuckled, then left with Luo Feng. Mo Yu-hu watched them fly off and sighed inwardly. "I, Mo Yu-hu, am truly lucky to have met such a benevolent Shangzun. He didn't kill me or take my treasures. He even gave me a chance to call on him for help. The gap between eternal true gods and ordinary ones is astonishing." Mo Yu-hu set his rudder and piloted his flying boat home. "Time to see if those three little brats have gotten into trouble," he muttered, thinking of his children. Returning with treasures would change their fate. When they'd seen the huge model in the Chaos Hall, Luo Feng and his companions already knew the cave dwelling's exact location, so they flew straight there. Master, your name is Luo He. What should I call myself? Morosa transmitted mentally. You'll be Luo Sa, Luo Feng replied. All right, Morosa nodded. The Chaos Hall sat close to the Chaos Ruins. After only a short flight, they arrived before the cave dwelling. Luo Feng looked over the estate, the elegant mountain over 100,000 kilometers high, waterfalls and lakes. For an eternal true god, 200,000 kilometers across counted as relatively small. He held the token and refined it. Buzz, the secret runes carved into the underground Grand Hall lit up. Formations shifted and interlocked, drawing in rich heavenly and earthly mist until the entire cave dwelling was shrouded in clouds. The formation power is considerable. It would take an eternal true god some effort to force their way in, Luo Feng observed, pleased. It was only 500 cosmic sand. How could the formations be poor? Morosa said. His pocket money was barely over 100 cosmic sand. What's being sold is the location, next to the Chaos Ruins. The formations are complementary, Luo Feng explained, then condensed a token with his divine power and handed it to Morosa. This lets you enter and leave freely. Morosa accepted it. Let's take a good look around. Whoosh! They passed through the main gate and strolled leisurely. With their speed, they flew from one end of the estate to the other in moments. They climbed to the mountaintop and celebrated with wine. From now on, we'll temporarily reside in Huyang City, Luo Feng said, smiling. Our first residence on the origin continent. Morosa liked the place. Then I'll choose a secondary building near the main one. I must guard my master. He drank with satisfaction. This wine was from the primordial universe. Each sip consumed a rare pleasure. You can pick from any of the 1,000+ buildings. The main building is mine, Luo Feng said. Haha, I'll rely on your protection, Morosa replied. Then the two fell quiet as Luo Feng tuned into the chaos laws. Rumble, it was so close. Right next door, the chaos laws actively manifested. He could even see the materialized laws of the neighboring chaos ruins with the naked eye. When he'd first arrived on the origin continent, he'd felt the chaos laws were clearer than in the primordial universe. Living beside the chaos ruins made them feel like a spectacle laid out before him. This cultivation environment far outclassed anything of the primordial universe region. Having been used to the faintness of that old background, Luo Feng felt overwhelmed. His voice was nearly a whisper of gratitude. I don't need treasures here, he thought. I only need time to comprehend. With this environment, I'll surely be able to fathom the chaos laws. To him, understanding chaos laws here would be far easier than trying to grasp the source of laws back home. Master, Morosa blinked. Luo Feng had set down his cup and entered cultivation. He's starting already? Morosa glanced toward the chaos ruins. I don't feel anything special about these so-called chaos ruins. Born from the great path of destruction, he matured as long as he ate, drank, and had time and energy to grow. He couldn't grasp Luo Feng's emotion, but he knew his master had to cultivate diligently. If Luo Feng grew strong enough, he'd be able to protect him. Thinking of the countless world beasts across 3,000 primordial universes and how only the Tianmu country realm beasts survived, Morosa felt both pressure and resolve. Meanwhile, inside the super-large cave dwelling belonging to the Moli family, the household surveillance reported an arrival. Moli Meng, a middle-aged man with 4 purple curved horns, observed an intelligence report that had just appeared. An unfamiliar eternal true god has arrived in Huyang City and purchased Chaos Armor 913. Name, Luo He? There's no other data recorded about him, he murmured. Is he newly advanced or sent by outsiders? As a border trading city, Huyang was a mixed bag, and any intelligence about eternal true gods warranted caution. Father, his daughter strode in, Fei Yun, strong and armored. Returned from hunting? Hunting, just a small thing, she said. When I came back, I found a new eternal true god not in the intelligence files you gave me. He has black hair and a pair of dark golden pointed horns. Is it him? Moli Meng brought up the report. Fei Yun studied it and nodded. So his name is Luo He? The City Lord's mansion rated his strength Class D. Is he that low? The City Lord's mansion tracked every eternal true god, compiling intelligence and assigning strength ratings, Class A, B, C, or D. Important reports went straight to high-level core members. As a high-ranking official, Mo Li Meng controlled many of Huyang's secrets. Since the official records show nothing, he's been temporarily marked Class D, Mo Li Meng said. If he openly purchased a cave dwelling, he probably has no hostile intent. He might be a newly advanced eternal true god. Without extensive tempering, such newcomers are usually not too strong, perhaps third or fourth stage eternal true god. Setting him as Class D is reasonable. The entire Yu country has no past records of him? Fei Yun asked, surprised. None, Mo Li Meng replied. Still, he cautioned, even if he's Class D, keep your distance. I understand, Fei Yun answered obediently. Thanks to the newly added Alliance Masters, Silver Alliance Master, Gun Demon Xu Jingming, the protagonist of my previous novel, Alliance Masters Ultramarine Caviar Sanjiang Banye, Venerable Xu Xin, Chapter 12, Flame Wind Hall. Luo Feng was lost in his comprehension until the sky had already darkened. Morosa sat nearby, bored and dozing. Master, you're awake? Morosa's face brightened. You've been sitting here the whole time I was cultivating? Luo Feng blinked. Why didn't you go explore Huyang City? I was just comprehending the laws, not spacing out. If any outsider had touched the cave dwelling's formation, I would have immediately broken my concentration. Morosa leaned forward, obsequious. Eating, drinking, and playing can wait. When Master cultivates, I must guard him. That's the most important thing. Luo Feng laughed. You're a smooth talker. He stood. All right, let's go sell that blue-purple blood crystal flower. Morosa rose as well. Master, which establishment will you sell it to? To the Yanfeng Guild, Luo Feng answered. They set out immediately. From a distance, they stared up at the Yanfeng Guild's main hall. Among the countless buildings of Huyang City, it was second in height only to the city lord's mansion. This is the safest place in Huyang City, Luo Feng said. Even if the city were leveled, the Yanfeng Guild would remain untouched. Morosa looked impressed. His knowledge of the origin continent all came from Luo Feng. Why is it so powerful? The Yanfeng Guild represents the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, Luo Feng explained. Established by several powerful houses of that kingdom, it trades across more than half the origin continent. Even during wars between divine kingdoms, no one dares to provoke the guild. Offending it is like slapping the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom itself. The consequences would be dire. Morosa understood. They must have an extremely strong backing. They can buy and sell whatever treasure they want, Luo Feng said, the safest trading partner in the lands. The blue-purple blood crystal flower would make eternal true gods envious. To ensure a safe, stable transaction, Luo Feng chose the Yanfeng Guild without hesitation. They entered the vast compound and approached the main hall. The moment they reached the entrance, a waiter stepped forward. Divine Monarch, please come in. He led them into a secluded hall. This is Chunmi wine from the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom. Please taste it. The waiter poured. A single cup of Chunmi wine was worth several chaos crystals at the kingdom's standards. It couldn't be bought in Huyang City. Luo Feng sipped and felt a light, refreshing clarity spread through his soul. Let's get to business. I'm here to sell a blue-purple blood crystal flower. Luo Feng placed a wooden box on the table. The waiter opened it and stared. For all appearances, it was an ordinary flower, but a formation within the guild glowed and instantly appraised it. This flower is fully mature, harvested and preserved excellently, high-grade quality. According to current market rates, the Yanfeng Guild will purchase it for 120,000 cosmic sand, the waiter reported. Divine Monarch, what do you think? Luo Feng nodded. He knew the guild's rules. Treasures priced under 10 million cosmic sand were not negotiable. Branch offices followed headquarters' fixed grades and prices. Fine, he said. The waiter carefully returned the flower to its box. A cyan jade bottle appeared on the table. This contains 120,000 cosmic sand. Please verify. Luo Feng scanned it and confirmed the contents. Payment and goods are settled, the waiter smiled. Is there anything else? Yes, I need to buy some refining materials. Luo Feng handed over a prepared list. The total is 100,000 cosmic sand. The waiter looked surprised. 100,000 for all of these? Many are common, but your quantities are immense. Some might require moving whole mountains. Are you sure? Can the Yanfeng Guild procure them? Luo Feng asked. The waiter's smile grew confident. Worry not. Even if it were 100 or 1,000 times more, the Yanfeng Guild could source them. Our storerooms have ample stock. Delivery would take about as long as a cup of wine. Good. Arrange it quickly, Luo Feng said. Also, I want to join the Yanfeng Guild's Dark Hall. You may, the waiter replied lightly. As an eternal true god, you can join the Dark Hall without review or fees. Members can issue and accept missions and purchase intelligence. The Dark Hall handled intelligence, bounties, and related services across the guild's network. The more clients it had, the better, so the threshold was low. Strength or wealth sufficed. You'll need a code name, the waiter added. Bladesman, Luo Feng decided. Application accepted. The waiter presented a communication token. This token connects you to the Dark Hall in major cities. Buy intelligence, issue bounties, accept missions. If it's lost or damaged, come to the Yanfeng Guild to replace it. Luo Feng took the token. He tried to buy basic intelligence on the countries of the origin continent. Divine Monarch, as a newly joined eternal true god, your Dark Hall credit limit is 1,000 cosmic sand. It must be repaid within one epoch, otherwise the penalty is 10 times the outstanding amount, the waiter warned. The intelligence costs 10 cosmic sand, Luo Feng said, and paid. The report arrived, basic maps and city data on the various countries. Luo Feng read it with special attention to Shi Country. Shi Country now has 5 lords. The report listed 5 lords but offered no detail on their methods or secret treasures. Luo Feng's expression tightened. When Master Zuo Shanka fled to the Universe Sea, Shi Country had only 3 lords, he remembered. Yu Country still has 5 god kings. Shi Country had grown during the time his master was gone. Zuo Shanke had fled the origin continent and spent a full reincarnation era in the primordial universe, later producing a prodigy like Luo Feng. Given Shi Country's ambitions, such change was natural. Whether 3 or 5 lords made little difference to Luo Feng, he was still an eternal true god and far from god-king level. He couldn't involve himself. The waiter suggested the Dark Hall's bounty missions. Luo Feng browsed and found a wide assortment: protection, mercenary, assassination. One listing stopped him cold: a bounty to kill Mo Li Xiao, Supreme Commander of the Huyang Legion. The Supreme Commander was one of the most powerful figures in Huyang City. Even the city lord's authority might not match his, yet someone had placed a bounty on him in the Yanfeng Guild. The Yanfeng Guild dares to offer bounties for anyone a client dares to target, the waiter said. Even god kings. Luo Feng could only nod. The guild's reach was that extensive. Then, with a whoosh, a black jade bottle appeared on the table. All the refining materials you requested are here. Please verify. Inside were mountains of supplies. Luo Feng checked them by thought and found everything. Indeed, some common items were present in extra quantities. We always include a little more for common materials, the waiter said. Satisfied, Luo Feng stood and motioned to Morosa. The waiter personally escorted them out. In a small building within the Yanfeng Guild, a figure of gray mist was paging through intelligence reports when a burly man entered. Guildmaster, the man greeted respectfully. The gray mist figure's hollow, misty eyes regarded him. You, as Guildmaster, leave the guild's affairs entirely to me, the burly man said with a fawning smile. I regret that I promised Ancestor I would always follow and protect you. Who knew you would leave the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, wander for over 1,000 epochs, and still not return? When will you return to the family? I miss home, the gray mist said. I plan to return after breaking through to the Chaos Realm, the burly man replied. As a member of the Emperor Chu lineage with noble blood, you still haven't used the bloodline cultivation method and instead study the laws. I expected this, the mist said. You reached true God with the infinite divine body without relying on bloodline cultivation. Your path will be harder. Most in the clan cultivate their bloodline first and only turn to the laws when they hit a bottleneck. The burly man snorted with contempt. After walking the easy path for so long, how many can succeed when they switch to a difficult one? Most remain mediocre. If you can become a Chaos Master through the laws, the family will back you fully when you return. The gray mist agreed. On the origin continent, all god kings had broken through by comprehending the laws. Becoming a Chaos Master is very difficult, the burly man conceded. The Chaos laws are insanely hard. Born on the origin continent, he had sensed the laws from childhood. Each step deeper was only more arduous. Luo Feng's earlier experiences during the primordial universe had left him with a vaguer sense of laws. Arriving on the origin continent felt like a sudden clarity, and his comprehension had progressed rapidly. The gray mist glanced at a new intelligence report and said to the burly man beside him, "A new eternal true god has arrived in Huyang City and joined our dark hall under the codename Bladesman." The burly man nodded indifferently. As direct descendants of the Emperor Chu line, they could afford to ignore most eternal true gods in Huyang City. Back at the cave dwelling, Luo Feng instructed Morosa, "I'll go into seclusion and cultivate for a while. You're free to act, just don't cause trouble." "Don't worry, master," Morosa answered enthusiastically. Luo Feng entered the underground main hall. Once inside, the mechanisms closed and the formation sealed the chamber. The hall was meant for cultivation and seclusion, but Luo Feng still found it too cramped. He waved his hand and released the star tower. With a whoosh, he entered it. The tower enclosed a vast space where he could cultivate without fear of causing damage. Time to begin cultivating the Chaos Great Strength diagram. Luo Feng sat cross-legged and commenced his first secluded cultivation on the origin continent. Inside one level of the star tower, the space was vast and boundless. Luo Feng sat cross-legged and began to grow. From his original true god height, about a zhang, he expanded in an instant, swelling far beyond the mountain range in his cave mansion. That range, hundreds of thousands of kilometers tall, was probably smaller than his little toe now. The origin continent's space-time is extremely stable. The suppression is strong. True gods are usually only about a zhang tall here. Now that I've fully manifested my true body, I'm only 120 million kilometers tall, he muttered, looking down at his majestic form. If he were in the region around the primordial universe, his divine body would be far larger. The two regions differed completely in time flow and spatial suppression. He had broken from true god to eternal true god in a short span, but his perfect divine body hadn't reached its limit. His small universe kept absorbing chaos chi and converting it into divine power, constantly fueling his growth. He was still getting taller every moment. 120 million kilometers was only a mid-development height. Luo Feng had a lot of information about infinite divine bodies. Two of the earlier Duan Donghe had possessed one, and he knew that in the origin continent environment, an infinite divine body at the eternal true god level could reach up to 3.6 billion kilometers. Since he had a perfect divine body, his limit should be even higher. For now, he decided to develop steadily. He closed his eyes and dove into the Chaos Great Strength diagram. With a perfect divine body, he wanted to exploit that edge. From the massive inheritances he had acquired, he selected the body-refining secret art, the Chaos Great Strength diagram. It looked like an ordinary Chaos Realm body method, but it was well-suited to massive divine bodies. The diagram was divided into 6 layers, the first 3 for the Eternal level, the latter 3 for the Chaos Realm. He began the first layer, building the foundation. With a thought, he retrieved refining materials and began to melt them. Melting was easy with his perfect divine power, but mastering the refining techniques required repeated experimentation. Even though he understood the technique in theory, many practical problems came up: material properties, material combinations, how to engrave array diagrams, how to interlock different arrays. He met each obstacle and solved it. He had the advantage of having comprehended laws to reach eternal true God. Those who reached that level by pure bloodline often knew only how to do things without understanding why, and would find refining far harder. No top-tier secret art was easy. Even with the manual, mastery took time. Days slipped by, 1, 2, 3, each day on origin continent representing an enormous stretch of time elsewhere. Luo Feng's small universe, 100 billion light-years across, ravenously absorbed chaos chi and condensed it into divine power, feeding his true god heart and his divine body. His height climbed, 130 million, 140 million, 200 million, 300 million. As he grew, the divine power required rose and growth slowed. Lost in the Chaos Great Strength diagram, he forgot time. At last, understanding dawned. Different fields are like different mountains, he laughed. Fortunately, my grasp of laws is deep. And this is only the first layer. building the foundation. I've finally completely understood it. He checked his size and hardly believed it. He was already 800 million kilometers tall. Still, that was beneath the infinite divine body ceiling of 3.6 billion kilometers, so he kept cultivating and exploring other secret arts. He immersed himself in techniques: Breaking World Nine Blades, Li Yuan art, Broken Extinction, Donghua, the Nine Nightmares realm, and watched chaos laws appear in nearby chaos ruins. The collision of insights from different arts with his extraordinary talent accelerated his progress. To achieve eternal true God in the primordial universe region, to produce a perfect divine body here, to bring his will to the peak of chaos, his talent was evident. Time continued to pass. One day, while he was deeply researching several arts, his immense divine body abruptly stopped growing. The small universe, which had been absorbing chaos chi at its limit, slowed. New divine power still gathered in his true God heart, but it no longer expanded his frame. He realized his divine body had finally reached the limit of the eternal true God stage. He checked. He had been in Origin Continent for 1.2 billion days, just over one epoch, since one epoch on Origin Continent equaled 1 billion days. In the primordial universe region, where time flowed differently, that span corresponded to a vast stretch of years. The small universe had absorbed energy for that long, and his divine body had matured accordingly. He perceived his current height clearly: 18 billion kilometers, 5 times the 3.6 billion kilometer maximum of an infinite divine body. His height was 5 times greater. The volume of divine power within him was hundreds of times larger. In the Origin Continent environment, an 18 billion kilometer body was colossal, taller than Huyang City's walls, which might reach his knees. Most Chaos Masters without an infinite divine body wouldn't be as tall. From the records he'd studied, even Chaos Masters who grew through bloodline methods rarely exceeded 10 billion kilometers in height. Still, in quality of divine power, comprehension of chaos laws, secret treasures, and will arts, Chaos Masters were often far superior. Will's secret arts were relatively common in Origin Continent and could be devastating when combined with a tempered will. Luo Feng accepted that in many respects he still lagged behind full Chaos Masters. Since his divine body had reached its limit, he began full-scale refinement. He drew on the store of materials inside the Star Tower, melted them, controlled proportions, and gradually integrated them into every part of his body. He was already familiar with all the steps of the first layer from earlier experiments, so the large-scale work proceeded smoothly, but still tediously. Refining a secret treasure weapon as tall as 18 billion kilometers demanded relentless care. Every array inscription had to be perfect. It took more than 300 days, but he finished the first layer completely. Finally, he breathed. The refining materials he had purchased for 100,000 cosmic sand were nearly used up. He felt slightly uneasy. Just building the foundation had consumed so much. The larger layers would be far more complex and resource-intensive. How many cosmic sand would he need then? Millions. He remembered that He Duomo's treasures totaled just over 10,000 cosmic sand. He had been fortunate to be able to use the fortune from the blue-purple blood crystal flower to finance even this first layer. Inside his 18 billion kilometer divine body, the new secret treasure structure had taken form. Dense secret patterns now threaded his blood and bones. The cost had been high, but the effect was excellent. He decided it was time to leave seclusion. He sealed the Star Tower and opened the array seal on his underground palace. The passageway opened with a rumble, and he flew out to his cave mansion. It was night, wind howling. The mansion was quiet. Morosa wasn't inside. Seclusion for a little over an epoch was relatively short for an eternal true god. Luo Feng had chosen seclusion after his first close combat defeat on Origin Continent to remedy his weaknesses. In that time, he had made solid improvements. As soon as he emerged, he felt the tug of soul enslavement and knew Morosa had returned. A black streak of light shot into the cave, and Morosa burst in, a large wine jar in one hand and a roasted slab of meat slung over his shoulder. He shouted excitedly, "Master, Master, you're finally out of seclusion. I've been waiting so anxiously." Luo Feng looked at the wine jar and the roast in Morosa's hands and couldn't help smiling. "You've been eating and drinking like this for days. Even on the way back, you couldn't put them down. Eating and drinking? Morosa bit into the meat and shook his head vigorously. No, no, master, you told me not to cause trouble. For a whole cycle, I didn't dare start anything. It was unbearable. I kept holding back and holding back. Unbearable? Luo Feng probed. Morosa nodded. Huyang City is full of factions, and there are battle-loving maniacs who pick fights for sport. By nature, I would have crushed them long ago, but your order comes above all. I won't disobey you, even to death. So I had to swallow it, turn big problems into small ones into none. Luo Feng's curiosity was piqued. As a world beast born from the great path of destruction, Morosa was fierce by nature. How had he endured? I just wound them lightly so they'd feel the difference in strength, Morosa hurried to explain. Then I'd make them pay a fine. Not starting a fight outright. If I didn't respond when hit, I'd only be bullied more. A coward in Huyang City gets eaten alive, Luo Feng said, nodding. Morosa beamed. He finished a few more swallows of wine, eyes bright. Master, now that you're on Origin Continent, you should taste the local vintages. They're different from back home. I'll try. Luo Feng took the wine jar, tipped his head back, and tasted. Warmth spread through his body. Even his soul and consciousness felt soothed and nourished. He raised an eyebrow. I've had 1 cup of Chunmi wine at Yanfeng Guild. Subtle, delicate. This is domineering. It affects the soul. That's how it is here, Morosa said. Creatures born on Origin Continent absorb heaven and earth power, so they don't need to eat to support basic life. Local delicacies and wines aren't for energy. Many have special effects. Some give intense sensory pleasure. Others refine the divine body or nourish the soul. True gods crave those things. He patted the jar reverently. A jar of this costs 3 chaos crystals. I cherish it. Food and wine can be that valuable? Luo Feng asked. It can. Morosa's eyes shone. I've sampled a lot in Huyang City. There's a place I love, the Fire Realm Feast. Come on, I'll take you. I don't pay for everything, Luo Feng warned. Morosa grinned. Your pocket money is mine, master. Hurry. They left the cave. After a short fly under Morosa's guidance, they reached a modest eatery tucked into Huyang City, Fire Realm Restaurant. The sign itself was integrated into a formation and glowed faintly. Black Butcher, Morosa called. Come out. As he spoke, he explained to Luo Feng, Black Butcher owns this place. I come here often. He's someone who challenged the cycle of reincarnation to come to Origin Continent. Challenged the cycle of reincarnation? Luo Feng raised an eyebrow. A burly, plump man appeared. His hair bristled like steel needles. His skin had faint scales, tusks showed at the mouth, and his eyes burned with emberlight. Despite his rough appearance, he walked up with exaggerated humility and enthusiasm. Venerable Shangzun's visit honors my Fire Realm restaurant, he said. Luo Feng realized this was an eternal true god. An eternal showing such deference in a small eatery was unusual. Morosa urged, Quick, prepare your specialty, the Fire Realm Feast. Please, this way. Black Butcher led them into a small building at the restaurant. He insisted on preparing the feast himself and left them to wait. A waiter brought wine and side dishes first. Luo Feng recognized the waiter and frowned in surprise. It was Suo Zi, the young man from the tribal team Luo Feng had rescued. Suo Zi? Luo Feng said. The youth bowed quickly. Greetings, Shangzun. I've seen him here before, Morosa said. I ask Suo Zi to serve me whenever I come. Master, you saved them. Meeting him here is fate. Suo Zi explained, gratefulness clear in his voice. After Suo Yun and I settled in Huyang City, we needed chaos crystals for living and cultivation. The restaurant owner took me on as an apprentice. He's talented at cooking, Morosa said. A good cook can find a place in Huyang City. Suo Zi nodded. I'm learning from the owner. Black Butcher's path was well known locally, Morosa added. He came from the primordial universe by challenging the cycle of reincarnation. He already knew some culinary arts there, and he learned Origin Continent techniques too. The fusion is unique among Void True Gods. Luo Feng asked softly, What about the brother who came with you? Suo Yun became an ordinary guard for a great family, Suo Zi said in a low voice. Luo Feng understood. Being a family guard often meant being sent on the most dangerous missions. He puts his life on the line. Morosa sighed. About half the true gods in Huyang City must hunt exotic beasts outside the walls to earn chaos crystals. Luo Feng had already noticed the same. Middle and lower ranks typically made a living by hunting and processing exotic beast materials. Service jobs inside cities were hard to come by without talent or strength. Black Butcher soon returned with a lavish spread. Dishes of all sorts filled the table, and a huge, fiery red roast sat in the center, glowing with a heat aura. When I was in my homeland, the primordial universe, I advanced through culinary divinity, Black Butcher said with pride. After I became a void true god, I challenged the cycle to come here. I couldn't rely on cooking alone, so I started from scratch as a butcher, slaughtering exotic beasts and learning their materials. 50,000 cycles of work later, I finally opened this restaurant. Please taste my Fire Realm feast, Venerable Shang Tsung, he added, eyes hopeful. Luo Feng sampled the side dishes and wine first. They were good, but it wasn't until he took a bite of the central roast that his expression changed. Morosa urged him, take big bites. The flavor hits harder that way. Luo Feng obliged. A huge chunk of meat, nearly a third of the roast, shrunk and fit into his mouth. As it slid down, warmth flared from his abdomen and spread through his entire body, as if refining his divine form. His soul and consciousness were wrapped in a comfortable, cozy heat. Eating the Fire Realm feast is like swallowing a world of flame, Black Butcher said quietly. It makes one feel the divine body changing, reborn. Luo Feng smiled. It wasn't mystical exactly, but it was deeply satisfying. For those with weaker divine bodies, the effect might indeed feel transformative. So? Black Butcher asked nervously. Not bad, Luo Feng replied. Black Butcher relaxed slightly. In Origin Continent, word of an eternal true god who liked a meal would be priceless advertising. You came from the primordial universe. You probably can't practice bloodline cultivations, Luo Feng observed. No, Black Butcher agreed. I rely on the path of laws, but grasping the source of laws is incredibly difficult. Even with clearer laws here, I've hit bottlenecks I can't break alone. I opened this restaurant to earn chaos crystals and buy resources to help my cultivation. Opening a restaurant is hard too, Luo Feng said. He ate until he was full, paying 10 chaos crystals for the meal, then left the rest for Morosa, who devoured it with obvious joy. Black Butcher and Suozi escorted them to the door. The owner watched them go, then asked Suozi quietly, Do you think Shang Tsung will come again? He seems to like the Fire Realm feast, Suozi replied. I hope so, Black Butcher said with a sigh. If an eternal true god frequents my place, more true gods will come. Pride and regret mixed in his voice. In his homeland, he had been invincible. Here he had fallen to the bottom. Void true gods and stronger were everywhere in Huyang City. Many preferred the dangers of the wilderness to humble work. Black Butcher had humbled himself to survive, learning butchery, opening a restaurant, and slowly building loyal customers. My goal is to grow this restaurant until I can afford the resources to push my cultivation to the eternal true god stage again, he murmured, and stepped back inside. In Huyang City, even the owner of a modest eatery might hide a past or ambitions that few outside understood. Chapter 15, Menghualu, Internal Meditation. As they flew, Morosa said, We just stopped at a cheap little snack shop. Next, we're going to one of Huyang City's top pleasure houses. One of the top pleasure houses in Huyang City? Which one? Luo Feng asked curiously. Dream Flower House, Morosa replied with a smirk. Cultivators of different races can hide their true forms and look alike at a glance, but in truth their needs are all different. Some don't even have fixed genders. Their tastes are all over the map. Yet Dream Flower House manages to attract them all. You'll see soon enough, Master, Morosa said. They laughed as they approached a sprawling complex shrouded in formations. The buildings covered a vast area. Servants hovered everywhere. Faint sounds of music, laughter, and shouting drifted through the air. That's the Dream Flower House, Morosa announced. Everything there is exquisite, except it's expensive. A figure in green flew toward them and bowed deeply. It is an honor for the Dream Flower House to receive Shang Tsung, Venerable. Within Huyang City, the eternal true gods were the most formidable existences, the city's heaven itself. They were rarely received, and the Dream Flower House seldom hosted them. This is my first time, Luo Feng said. Make the arrangements. Yes, Venerable. The green-robed attendant smiled, a practiced charm on his face. I will prepare the most distinguished Lanxing Hall. He led the way into the heart of the Dream Flower House. The formation-run complex was like a labyrinth. Morosa looked around in astonishment. I've been here a few times, but never this deep. This is truly for honored guests only. Luo Feng's expression tightened. As a perfect divine body, his senses were broad and keen. He picked up something in a nearby hall that made him uneasy. A large hall ahead was packed with distinguished guests of various races, feasting and gambling as they watched a life-and-death struggle in the center. Two true gods fought fiercely, killing anyone they could. The floor was slick with blood. Over a dozen true god corpses already lay around, their true forms revealed in death. Kill him! Kill him for me! Lose and your entire family dies with you, a green-robed patron roared. Kong Quishan drawled another guest with 8 arms, smiling lazily. In this 10 absolutes battle, you only have 1 servant left of the 10 you sent. I still have 3 who haven't entered. This wager is mine. It isn't over yet. My last guard is extraordinarily talented and will wipe out your remaining servants, the green-robed man snapped. The other guest raised his cup, amused. The surrounding audience grew excited. The rules of such a 10 absolutes battle were cruel. Each side sent 10 servants. The fight ended only when one side was annihilated. Many forced participants had no choice but to fight. A bald true god on the brink of defeat muttered, I came from my tribe to seek opportunity and found a legacy that made me stronger. Now I die here. I hope my sister. His voice trailed off as the green-robed patron shouted, Finish him, then finish off the other 3, and you will be richly rewarded. Luo Feng, Morosa, and their attendant passed by at a distance. Luo Feng cast only a glance, and an invisible pressure rippled through the hall. The revelers felt as if they'd been fixed beneath an appraising gaze from something terrifying. The 2 combatants' minds went blank, their thoughts frozen under the pressure. The void true gods and other highborn guests went utterly silent. None dared to move. The green-clad attendant, hovering beside Luo Feng, froze and startled. My mood was good tonight, Luo Feng said calmly, a thin thread of killing intent creasing his brow. I didn't expect to see such a thing. It soils my eyes and spoils my mood. The attendant trembled. It is our oversight. The Dreamflower House does not allow life-and-death gambling. We will pay for all of Venerable's expenses tonight. Take me to Lanxing Hall, Luo Feng said. Yes, Venerable. The attendant hurried to lead them away. Morosa glanced back at the hall and snorted softly. A pack of little brats then followed. Inside the now empty hall where the life-and-death gamble had been staged, attendants urged the remaining guests to leave. That unfamiliar eternal true god clearly dislikes these matches, one of them warned. Quick, get out, Kong Quishan snapped. The 8-armed guest, untempted to press his luck, fled with his guards. The 2 true gods who had been fighting gathered their remaining comrade's corpse and slipped away, breathing easily that the calamity had ended without worse consequences. Deep inside the Dreamflower House, in its central hall, Lanxing Hall, Morosa sat beside Luo Feng. The Dreamflower House is one of Huyang City's finest pleasure houses, but eternal true gods come only rarely, he said. Its regular clientele are mostly void true gods, and they play wild. The attendants have no power to stop the scions of great clans. The green-clad attendant poured wine for them. Luo Feng waved his hand. There's too much filth in the world to manage it all, he said casually. My little warning was just that, a warning. What if they ignored it? Morosa asked. Then they'd be insulting me, Luo Feng said flatly. And if they kept pushing, they'd have no one to blame but themselves. The attendant swallowed. Many of the nobles who had been in that hall belonged to Huyang's top clans. An unfamiliar eternal true god had casually threatened to kill them. Could he really do it? A black-clad woman entered and bowed when she saw them. Venerable, the attendant introduced, this is musician Suya, the Lord's direct disciple. Morosa added, among the eternal true gods skilled in illusions in all of Huyang City, only a few exist. Of those, only Dreamflower House's lord accepts commissions to perform such spectacles. Luo Feng nodded. He cultivated the 9 Nightmares realm and had only recently stepped into the eternal true god level. While illusions might not sway him in combat, used for entertainment, they could have powerful effects. Begin, he said with interest. Suya sat and with a graceful wave summoned an array of instruments. She fed them divine power, and the hall filled with music. The tones were woven with subtle mental techniques. They reached into the listeners' hearts and pulled at memory and feeling. For Luo Feng, the music unlocked shards of his past. Images of people on Earth standing bravely against the golden horned beast surfaced, passion and sacrifice flaring within him. Using music as a guide and illusion as the framework to influence emotion, he thought. He let himself be pulled in. For cultivators with limitless years of practice, emotions often lay still as a vast plain. Stirring them intensely was difficult. Luo Feng felt no resistance to Suya's art, but his own will was unusually strong, chaos level at the peak. The illusion by itself only called up memories. Seeing that, Luo Feng decided to press further. He began to practice the seven emotions heart refining method from Li Yuan art, an internal technique that magnified mental sensitivity by deliberately amplifying emotion, joy, anger, sorrow, love, and so on, then using those tides to refine the mind. As he executed the method, his mental perception expanded rapidly. The musician's music, which had only evoked faint resonance before, suddenly intensified manyfold. Luo Feng sank into a trance and felt himself transported back to the scene of sacrifice. Sit, close your eyes, remember, do not resist, he spoke in a low voice. Understood. Mohanderson, Easter, Tripathi Singh, Jiayi, and Sokolov took their places as part of the six-star formation. The memory unfolded, 6 comrades committing themselves to stop the golden horned beast. A fervent, all-consuming will to kill the beast ignited in Luo Feng's chest. With the 7 emotions method feeding his mind, the emotion burned so hot that tears brimmed in his eyes. The performance of the Dream Flower House was designed to serve and delight its guests, so Suya's illusions coaxed forth only noble feelings, passion, loyalty, vows of brotherhood, the readiness to share life and death. She played until the music drew to a gentle close. When it ended, she watched the unfamiliar eternal true God with curiosity. He had been more immersed than most would be. Luo Feng opened his eyes slowly. They were wet with unshed tears, but his voice was calm. Good, he said softly. Very good. Thanks to the 2 new alliance masters who gave rewards, Invincible God of War Luo Feng and La Feng Jianqi. Chapter 16, The Expectations of the Mountain Dwellers. Master? Morosa also felt Luo Feng had been overly affected. It had been nothing more than an illusion cast by a void true god. Luo Feng glanced at the woman in black and nodded. You may go. Suya takes her leave. The black-clad musician Suya retreated with respectful composure. Luo Feng ignored Morosa and the green-clad steward nearby and continued drinking alone. Inside the vast hall, Morosa and the steward kept silent for a long time. Luo Feng drank in quiet, his eyes deep. His will was being tempered by the 7 emotions heart-refining method. Just as steel grows stronger through repeated hammering, a being's will grows through repeated trials and setbacks. The stronger the tempering, the more powerful the will becomes, so long as it does not break. The 7 emotions heart-refining method was unusual. It used surges of emotion to refine the will. As the secret technique ran, waves of intense feeling struck the heart, repeatedly battering the will. Luo Feng thought to himself that his cultivation had gone on so long that his emotions had grown deep and reserved. Who would have guessed that in this dream flower house he would be brought back to a time when his feelings were most raw? Among the Li Yuan arts, there were many methods to cultivate will. For a long time, Luo Feng had preferred the Great Destruction heart refining method. During more than one epoch of seclusion, he had practiced it repeatedly. Its ceiling was far higher than the 7 emotions method. After all, one could not remain under constant emotional torment without going mad. The Great Destruction method used the conception of total annihilation to grind the will. The practitioner must resist and endure. Because Morosa carried within him a destruction origin, Luo Feng could observe that force directly and try to condense the conception of destruction, making the method unusually efficient. Destruction origin was equivalent to the primordial universe's life origin. By enslaving a world beast, one could witness destruction origin firsthand, hence Luo Feng's long-standing focus on the Great Destruction method. His memories of those days were beautiful. Luo Feng reflected as his emotions smoothed. He turned his attention to the black-clad woman he had dismissed. Is Suya the Dream Flower House's strongest illusionist? The steward in green answered promptly. The strongest illusionist is naturally the Dreamflower Lord herself, but she only hosts the Baihua banquet on rare occasions and invites only honored guests. Among the other musicians, there are more than 10 who are comparable to Suya. Luo Feng nodded. Have them play more. Very well. The steward looked a little puzzled. Why would an eternal true god care so much about a void true god's illusions? In Huyang City, some eternal true gods favored the Dreamflower Lord, and a few were infatuated, but he had never heard of an eternal true god taking a special interest in void true god-level illusionists. Still, Luo Feng had ordered it, and the steward moved to arrange it. As Luo Feng continued his 7 emotions practice, one musician after another wove illusions. Though from the same lineage, each had a distinct specialty. Some created entire illusionary worlds and made Luo Feng a character within those tales. After several performances, the steward asked, "Venerable, are you satisfied? The Dream Flower House has many curiosities. Musician illusions are only one part." "I've had my fill tonight," Luo Feng said, standing. He glanced at a petite woman cloaked in leaves, a luoya, a plant life from the origin continent. Her music stirred him more deeply than any of the others. "This one is excellent." As he spoke, he casually tossed down what looked like an ordinary grain of sand. It drew the attention of everyone in the hall. "Cosmic sand?" the steward exclaimed, startled. "Venerable, tonight's expenses at the Dream Flower House are on us. You don't need to." "I don't like taking advantage." Luo Feng left. Morosa, grabbing the nearby wine pot with emotion, followed and urged the steward to accept the gift. "My master insisted. You must take it." The steward picked up the grain and saw, to his astonishment, an embryonic universe contained within it. What had cost the Venerable only a little over 2,000 chaos crystals and services was dwarfed by this single grain. He announced to the room, "A Luoya, the Venerable is very pleased with your music and rewards you 10 chaos crystals." "Thank you, Steward Luo." A Luoya bowed, surprised and delighted. The other musicians watched with envy. They had only received routine payments. A Luoya had received the greatest honor from that eternal true god. In the deepest part of the Dreamflower House, wrapped inside a grand formation within a modest pavilion, the Dreamflower Lord stood in loose robes and surveyed most of the house through the windows. The steward in green reported respectfully, "Dreamflower Lord, that eternal true god has left. He even paid with a grain of cosmic sand." The Dreamflower Lord nodded. "Tell me everything about him." "Yes," the steward replied. "His servant has been here several times, but this eternal true god is unfamiliar here and came for the first time tonight. He only cares about musical illusions. Those musicians are all void true gods. Logically, they shouldn't influence an eternal true god much. Yet he listened to the point of tears. He seemed very moved and said he would return." The steward hesitated. If our Lord personally acted, he might become infatuated. From her window, the Dreamflower Lord watched the grounds. Over countless years, only 2 eternal true gods had become infatuated with her. Eternal true gods possessed extraordinary will. Even if they were briefly immersed, they usually recovered when the illusion ended. True infatuation was rare. She smiled softly. "When he returns, tell him I will host a Baihua banquet in 10 days and that he is invited." "Yes, Dreamflower Lord." The steward bowed. A day on the origin continent stretched long. In the days that followed, besides his cultivation, Luo Feng was taken by Morosa to various places. The outings broadened his horizons. When he returned to the Dreamflower House, he received an official invitation. "Venerable," the steward greeted him enthusiastically, "our Dreamflower Lord will host a Baihua banquet in 10 days. Many eternal true gods across Huyang City will be invited. The Dreamflower Lord requests your presence." "The Dreamflower Lord's Baihua banquet?" Luo Feng raised an eyebrow. "In 10 days?" "Yes, 10 days. The next banquet might not happen for several epochs." The steward added quickly. Luo Feng smiled. "If I am invited, I will be happy to attend. I look forward to experiencing the Dreamflower Lord's illusions." "May I ask the Venerable's name for preparations?" the steward asked. "Luo He," Luo Feng said. The steward committed the name to memory. If this eternal true god Luo He became enamored of the Dreamflower Lord, her influence in Huyang City would rise another notch. Far beyond, in the primordial universe, Zuo Shanqi remained reclusive and cut off from most other true gods. He left his small universe alone and flew toward Luo Feng's small universe. He had been away from the origin continent for just over 10,000 epochs, but time here moved more than 10,000 times faster than on the origin continent. He had waited long enough. The prolonged passage of time had left him a true god, but his strength had not advanced. His face, ancient and worn, showed a trace of loneliness. All he could do was endure the relentless flow of time. Rushing onward, he finally glimpsed Luo Feng's massive small universe in the distance and froze. He opened his eyes and observed closely. The rate at which it absorbed chaotic energy had slowed significantly. Zuo Shanke felt a thrill. Luo Feng's divine body had finally reached its limit. His small universe, over 100 billion light-years across, draws in enormous amounts of chaotic energy every moment, Zuo Shanke mused. Cumulatively, his divine body on the origin continent should be between 15 billion and 20 billion kilometers tall. As a former Jin God King, Zuo Shanke judged energy scales with precision. A divine body so vast would eclipse others at the same level. When Luo Feng eventually became a God King, his divine power advantage alone would make him incomparable even to several God Kings combined. A fire of hatred and hope burned inside Zuo Shanke. Everything he had cherished had been destroyed by the three country lords of Shi country, his senior sister and wife, friends, disciples, gone. From that day he had one driving thought: revenge. He had done everything in the primordial universe for that end. He had been lucky to encounter Luo Feng. Luo Feng's growth was Zuo Shanke's only hope for vengeance. My strength is far below heavenly Kun country lords, Zuo Shanke admitted. Back then, I only escaped with a secret treasure. In a direct fight, I stood no chance. Only when Luo Feng grows can I hope to avenge what was taken from me. Just the sheer advantage of Luo Feng's colossal divine body, he thought, could tip the scales against the three country lords. Satisfied that Luo Feng's divine power reserve had expanded as hoped, Zuo Shanke turned and flew toward his own small universe to make final preparations for reincarnation. He had been away from the origin continent far too long. Chapter 17, 100 Flowers Banquet Night fell as Luo Feng and Morosa arrived at the Dream Flower House. Looks like we're the earliest, Luo Feng said, taking a seat without hurry. Morosa settled a little way off. The buildings around them were shaped like flowers, each with attendants standing outside. A green-clad attendant smiled and said, "Venerable, the other guests will be arriving soon." "Ha, I'm the earliest again." A thunderous laugh cut through the air, and a mountain-like figure landed, his attendant trailing far behind. The newcomer scanned the courtyard and paused at the sight of Luo Feng. "Someone even earlier?" he asked. Luo Feng watched him. The green-clad attendant leaned in and introduced, "Venerable, this is Shang Tianyan, sect master of Tianyan sect, one of Huyang City's foremost artifact refiners." Shang Tianyan approached with a warm smile. "And this true god?" he asked. "Luo He." Luo Feng stood to bow. Shang Tianyan's smile widened. "Luo He, you must have only recently arrived in Huyang City. If you don't mind, join me." "Please." Luo Feng liked making acquaintances. He had come to the origin continent precisely to see more of the world. He glanced at Morosa, who shifted obediently to the farthest corner. On the surface, he was a void true god, and it would be improper for him to sit too close to two eternal true gods. "I enjoy making friends in Huyang City," Shang Tianyan said as he sat. "When a new eternal true god appears, I'm always happy to meet them." He regarded Luo Feng with genuine interest. "You've just arrived and must be unfamiliar with things here. If you ever run into trouble in Huyang City, come to me. I specialize in artifact refining and have ties everywhere." Luo Feng nodded. "To be among the best in artifact refining here, Brother Shang, your strength must be considerable." Shang Tianyan lowered his eyes modestly, each to their own strengths. As they spoke, a winged man floated in, radiant, languid, and clearly uninterested in anyone around him. He strode into a pavilion, sat alone, and drank. "That's Sang Shuyan," Shang Tianyan said. "He and I are the two eternal true gods who most often attend Menghua Luju's Baihua banquet. We're rivals in love." "Rivals in love?" Luo Feng raised an eyebrow. Shang Tianyan laughed ruefully. "I'm willing, but Menghua Luju, she's indifferent." Luo Feng smiled inwardly. He was curious about this Dreamflower Lord whose name inspired such devotion. Before he could ask more, Shang Tianyan noticed another arrival, a figure formed of mist whose outline was indistinct, one calm eye surveying the scene. "That's Lord Baiwu of the Six Lords Alliance," Shang Tianyan whispered. "The Six Lords Alliance?" Luo Feng frowned. "It's one of Huyang City's secretive factions," Shang Tianyan explained. "Legend says 6 eternal true gods cultivated together and eventually formed the Six Lords Alliance. It's one of the 19 darkness factions that operate in Huyang City." 19 darkness factions? Luo Feng listened as Shang Tianyan laid out the city's balance of power. On the surface, the official forces are the City Lord's Mansion, the Huyang Guard, and the Huyang 10 Legions. Those are mainly controlled by the 5 great families. Some of them have backgrounds as mighty as royal lines. Luo Feng understood. In Yu country, 5 god kings reigned. Their families, nurtured over generations with vast resources, would inevitably place relatives and retainers in many high positions. The official forces are backed by those 5 great families, Shang Tianyan continued. But in the end, strength is everything. No background beats real power, so factions formed by eternal true gods wield enormous influence across Huyang City. He went on. The 19 darkness factions permeate the city. Residents pay them quiet dues. Beyond that are many smaller families and merchants, those who refine medicines, craft artifacts, or run sects. As unattached eternal true gods, we have much less sway. We don't aim to control the city. The waters here are too deep. If you get entangled, you could lose your life. Luo Feng found Shang Tianyan's frankness useful. When the sect master asked, "Which faction do you belong to?" Luo Feng shook his head. "None. I came with only one attendant." Shang Tianyan's expression turned concerned. "Newcomers are easy prey. I'll give you some intelligence. Be careful." With a flick of his finger, a stream of light flew to Luo Feng. Inside was detailed intelligence Luo Feng could tell would normally cost at least 10 cosmic sand. "Thank you, Brother Shang," Luo Feng said. Shang Tianyan waved it off, but his gaze drifted. "Quite a few eternal true gods are coming tonight, even 2 from the 5 great families." Luo Feng followed his look. 2 purple gold figures descended, each with 3 eyes and a sharp tail covered in purple gold scales. They scanned the crowd, ignored everyone, and settled at a chosen spot. 2 eternal true gods from the Qumeng clan, Shang Tianyan said, surprised. One of the 5 great families. It's rare to see a royal family send members to the Dreamflower House. Luo Feng, reading the intelligence, already knew 2 of the 5 great families were indeed royal. Qumeng was the family of God King Qumeng, one of Yu country's 5 god kings. With a god king as town defender and generations of resources, the clan naturally produced many elites. The presence of such figures on a social occasion spoke to Menghua Luju's influence. As the music began, the assembled eternal true gods quieted and turned toward the void. Menghua Luju, Dreamflower Lord, emerged. Her divine body seemed to embody the law of charm itself. Every eternal true god present felt the pull. Even Luo Feng thought he saw echoes of his own wife, Shu Xin, in her manner. Her divine body is powerful, Luo Feng noted inwardly. Every eternal true god sees in her the qualities they most desire. He'd read as much in Shang Tianyan's intelligence, but seeing it firsthand still impressed him. Menghua Loju's voice flowed through the banqueting hall and into each mind. Tonight, 15 eternal true gods have come to attend the Baihua banquet. I have composed a new piece, and I invite you to appreciate it. 2 attendees were from Qimeng clan. 5 represented the 19 darkness factions. The remaining 8 were unattached eternal true gods, Luo Feng and Shang Tianyan among them, making 15 in all. The melody spread through heaven and earth like snows drifting under a moonlit sky. The scene shifted and became a new world. Luo Feng felt the musical illusion's strength. It was far superior to the best of Luoya's work, and yet, because Luo Feng's will had reached the peak of chaos, it had limited effect on him unless he chose to amplify it. If he employed the 7 emotions heart-refining method, however, the music's power would multiply and sweep him into the deepest of feelings, possibly beyond what he could bear. He remembered how, listening to Luoya with the 7 emotions method, his emotions had surged until he wept. Under Menghua Luju's far stronger illusion, the effect could be overwhelming. Behind him, Morosa was nonchalantly drinking. Luo Feng sent him a mental order. "Morosa, guard me." Morosa looked up, then answered quickly. Master, rest assured, I will guard you diligently. Meng Hualuju's music was intended only for the 15 eternal true gods. Attendants and servants were excluded. Determined, Luo Feng activated the seven emotions heart-refining method. Instantly, the music's force leapt, multiplied by some hidden factor, and Luo Feng plunged headlong into the inner world the melody painted. The two Qmeng eternal true gods listened like connoisseurs and were unimpressed. It's merely average, one commented, far below some performances in the royal capital. It's pleasant enough, but its effect on the mind trails our family's 100 Tribulations song, the other added. Many present, however, were deeply moved. Shang Tianyan and Sang Shuiyun, both smitten with Meng Hualuju, dissolved into tears. Joy or sorrow, each surrendered to the spell. Luo Feng sat cross-legged, and the seven emotions method pulled him in so completely that his control began to slip. An invisible aura radiated from him, and the lacquered table in front of him crumbled to dust. Morosa snapped to attention. The green-clad attendant blurted, "Lord Luo Hei!" The building's protective formation held, so it did not collapse, but the display startled every eternal true god present. Who is this unfamiliar eternal true god? He lost his composure at a Baihua banquet? Murmurs rippled around the hall. Even Shang Tianyan, who was still under the music's influence, opened his eyes and stared at Luo Feng in disbelief. Though moved, Shang Tianyan had maintained outward composure. He could not imagine his new acquaintance being so deeply affected. Luo Feng's face was pale and expressionless, lost in the music's world. Outside, the Dreamflower House hummed with tension as the banquet took an unexpected turn. Chapter 18. Merciful Luo Feng, two eternal true gods of the Qmeng clan, leisurely drinking and chatting, turned to watch Luo Feng with mild interest as his aura began to rise. His mind and will are so weak, one murmured. He lost control from a single musical illusion. He must be an eternal true god who blasted through by luck from some wilderness tribe, another sneered. No secret methods to temper his mind and will, too crude, too weak. He'll be an easy mark. They smirked, their clan-born arrogance barely concealed. To them, eternal true gods from outside the royal Qmeng felt inferior, crude techniques, inferior treasures. Luo Feng looked like someone who had lucked into the rank without real inner cultivation. What a waste of a Baihua banquet, one muttered. Vice President Lai Mo, the third leader of the Darkness Faction's Blood Python Society, sat nearby, a tall, black-furred figure with blood-red eyes. He'd been enjoying the music immensely until Luo Feng's disruption. The Blood Python Society's guildmaster, a black-scaled figure, sipped wine and shrugged. A newly minted eternal true god. Don't take him seriously. Meng Hualuju will show him the door. He'll spoil the banquet otherwise. Meng Hualuju, the Dreamflower Lord, paused her musical illusion when she saw everyone turn toward Luo Feng. The other eternal true gods were instinctively alert whenever a peer released their aura. She had known he was easily affected by musical illusions, but not that he would actually lose control. The illusionist, Luo Feng, came to and found the table, food, wine, everything in his room smashed. Several eternal true gods in the neighboring halls stared his way, whispering. He realized, ruefully, that practicing the seven emotions heart-refining method while listening to Meng Hualuju's illusions had been a mistake. He'd overextended himself and briefly lost control. "Brother Shang, I apologize," Luo Feng said, rising from his cross-legged posture and bowing to Shang Tianyan. "Don't worry," Shang Tianyan laughed. "I never expected you'd be more swept up than I was." "It was remarkable music," Luo Feng said with a smile. "It stirred old memories. I'll take a walk. Please, continue." Morosa fell into step at his side. As they left, Luo Feng nodded slightly to Meng Hualuju in apology. She felt a pang of disappointment. Immersion in an illusion didn't always mean infatuation with her, but his weak resistance told her he might still be swayed later. The eternal true gods exchanged opinions as Luo Feng departed. His mind and will were weak, an exploitable flaw. The purple-clad attendant Yu Luo followed them, taking instructions. "Arrange another hall for me," Luo Feng said, and added, "Get a Luoya." Yu Luo sent the message at once and then whispered, "Lord Shang, the Baihua banquet is on today. Dreamflower House is crowded. A Luoya is performing elsewhere. It may take her a while." Luo Feng's perfect divine body let him quickly locate the other hall. A Luoya was performing there. On stage, A Luoya stood with vines extending from her body to coiling over instruments. Divine power animated them, and the music flowed in an immersive illusion. As she finished and prepared to bow, a young man in the main seat stopped her. He wore 4 purple curved horns like a crown, and his eyes burned with purple fire, clearly a Mo clan descendant from Huyang City. "I've heard music in Dreamflower House many times," he said. "You are the most gifted. I am Mo Lian. I formally invite you to serve as a musician for the Mo clan. Will you come?" An invitation from a major clan. Aluoya's heart fluttered. She trembled at the thought. Joining such a family would mean being at the mercy of powerful individuals, summoned and discarded like a toy. Beside Mo Lian sat Duan Mo Yun, a red-haired man and a hallmaster of the Blood Python Society, who smiled and added pressure. "You're from the Qianye Teng Kao clan, aren't you?" Duan Mo Yun said. "Your clan lives in the Snow Winter District. The Qianye Teng Kao clan has 9 void true gods and over 10,000 true gods. If you refuse, who knows how that'll go for them?" Aluoya paled. The Blood Python Society was one of Huyang City's 19 darkness factions that covertly controlled much of the city, an ominous presence to cross. She stammered that she belonged to Dreamflower House and could not leave without permission. Mo Lian promised that Menghua Lu Ju would grant face to the Mo clan, but Aluoya could only summon more reluctance. Duan Mo Yun sneered and ordered her out. The atmosphere tightened as the hall's attendants tried to mediate. Then the room froze, suddenly silent and unmoving, as if painted. A black-haired man appeared in the doorway with a simple attendant at his side. Luo Feng stepped in, scanning the room, and scoffed. "Dreamflower House, are you giving away musicians without my say? I highly value musician Aluoya. How dare you let a brat claim her?" Panic washed the hall. Mo Lian and Duan Mo Yun, both cultivators of background, paled. An angry eternal true god could crush them regardless of rank. The purple-clad attendant rushed forward, trembling with apologies. "Silence," Luo Feng said coldly. His gaze cut across Duan Mo Yun and Mo Lian. "From today on, neither of you will set foot in Dreamflower House." He turned to the attendants of Dreamflower House. "You must protect Aluoya. If you cannot, hand her to me. Do you understand?" They nodded frantically. He added with a thin smile, "If the Blood Python Society, the Mo clan, or Dreamflower House are displeased, they can come find me. I'll receive them warmly." When he released his control, everyone snapped out of the stunned state, but no one dared speak. Luo Feng simply said, "Aluoya, come with me," and left. Morosa chuckled quietly as he followed. His master had been instructed not to stir trouble, but he approved of Luo Feng's intervention. Aluoya and the purple-clad attendant trailed behind, bewildered but relieved. In the hall, Mo Lian and Duan Mo Yun seethed. Duan Mo Yun immediately sent word to the Blood Python Society's guildmaster and vice-guildmaster, both attending the Baihua banquet. The attendant rushed to Menghua Lu Ju to report everything. Luo Feng led Aluoya to the familiar Lan Xing Hall, where food and wine awaited. The purple-clad attendant whispered, "Shang Zun, this might bring trouble." Luo Feng didn't answer. He had held back already. He had felt murderous intent stir when Duan Mo Yun threatened Aluoya through her clan. Killing them would have been satisfying, but it would have brought far worse consequences for Aluoya. He'd restrained himself. He'd already been merciful. Outside the hall, a Blood Python Society member bowed and said respectfully, "Lord Luo Hei, our vice-guildmaster is at the Baihua banquet. Hearing of the disagreement between your lordship and our hallmaster Duan Mo Yun, Vice President Lai Mo asked me to invite you to the banquet." Luo Feng lifted his wineglass and replied coldly, "If he wants to see me, he can come to me in person. I have no reason to go visit him." Luo Feng sat drinking, utterly unconcerned about the vice-guild master of the Blood Python Society. Since arriving on Origin Continent and secluding himself for over a cycle, his perfect divine body had matured to its peak. He had also cultivated numerous secret techniques, turning much of his potential into raw power. He was no longer the man who had only the life and death blade when he fought He Duo Mo. Now his hands itched for a better fight. He wanted a truly formidable opponent. Among all the forces in Huyang City, he thought, real power would lie with the leaders of the 5 great families, the heads of the 19 Darkness faction, the heads of some super branches here, or perhaps some reclusive old monsters. Thanks to intelligence from his friend Shang Tianyan, Luo Feng had already identified where the strong opponents were. That was the only kind of challenge that could stir his fighting spirit. How strong, really, could Lai Mo be, only a vice guild master of a single darkness faction? Lord Luo He, you want the vice guild master to come see you personally? The Blood Python Society messenger stammered, trembling. He feared the vice guild master would take his anger out on him if he reported this. Luo Feng's gaze passed through the hall door and looked out as if he could see to the horizon. Your vice guild master already heard everything clearly. Lanxing Hall hadn't cast any sound-blocking array. It was wide open. Luo Feng had not hidden a thing. Any eternal true god paying attention could see and hear him. Yes, I'll go, sir. The messenger fled. Inside the hall, the green-robed attendant and Luoya were tense. Venerable Shang, the attendant transmitted, Vice Guild Master Lai Mo is arrogant and fierce. If you humiliate him like this, he will not tolerate it. Is this humiliation? Luo Feng smiled and raised his cup. You don't understand yet. At the Baihua banquet, the Blood Python Society's Guild Master Mu Yang and Vice Guild Master Lai Mo were seated nearby. At first, they hadn't paid much attention, but the persistent messages from Duan Mo Yun had annoyed them. An incident at Dream Flower House would spread through Huyang City. If the Blood Python Society, present at Dream Flower House, ignored it, their silence would be seen as cowardice. The Blood Python Society was one of the 19 Darkness faction. Their reputation had been built by strength and killing. He's an eternal true god, Guildmaster Mu Yang said. Handle this carefully. Resolve it if you can. All right, I'll go. Lai Mo ordered a subordinate to carry the message, and they watched from a distance. Dreamflower Lord Menghua Lu, Shang Tianyan, and several other eternal true gods glanced over as well. With Lanxing Hall having no sound array, they could all see and hear everything. If he wants to see me, he should come to me himself. There's no reason for me to visit him. Luo Feng's words rang clear to every eternal true god watching. How exciting. Interesting. He's not giving the Blood Python Society any face at all. Those spectators were delighted. They preferred watching others clash than fighting themselves. This unfamiliar eternal true god was exceptionally bold. He dared to ignore the Blood Python Society's leaders. The Blood Python Society has deep roots in Huyang City, one commentator said. If they allow this, they'll be a laughingstock. They can't tolerate it. Guildmaster Mu Yang and Vice Guildmaster Lai Mo both looked grim. We don't have the backing of the 5 great families, Mu Yang said quietly. Our territory was carved out by killing. The Darkness faction's renown was forged in blood. If he's so disrespectful, let's see what he's actually capable of. I'll check him out, Lai Mo said, standing. A fool who can't even withstand an illusion. I want to see where his confidence comes from. Don't be careless against any eternal true god, Mu Yang warned. Be careful. Lai Mo strode outside. Vice Guild Master Lai Mo, everyone is invited to my Baihua banquet. Dreamflower Lord Menghua Lu called, but Lai Mo's form bristled with terrifying energy as he cut her off. He charged toward Lanxing Hall, crossing the distance in a few steps. Menghua Lu followed. A clash between 2 eternal true gods was not something she could simply ignore. Shang Tianyan watched, astonished. My newly befriended Luo He is unusually fierce. I wouldn't dare provoke the Blood Python Society, yet he dares to ignore them like this. The Darkness faction didn't become feared without reason, Lord Baiwu said. Even the City Lord's mansion respects them. 2 eternal true gods from the Kumeng royal family were openly excited. Many watched from afar, curious to see how provoking the Blood Python Society would end. Inside Lanxing Hall, Yu Luo, the green-robed attendant, and a Luoya were fraught with anxiety. Something big is about to happen, Yu Luo muttered. A Luoya blamed herself, worrying her involvement might have drawn trouble. Morosa peered out, his eyes glittering with interest. Luo Feng, meanwhile, sat calmly drinking. Vice Guildmaster Lai Mo halted outside the hall. A menacing aura radiated from him, his blood-colored eyes fixed on Luo Feng. He grinned. You wanted me to come personally? I'm here. If you have something to say it, Luo Feng replied, still pouring wine, never looking up. Lai Mo's smile soured into anger. Menghua Lu, who had arrived as well, realized she couldn't prevent this. I heard you're arrogant. You showed no respect to the Moli clan, to Dreamflower House, and now to my Blood Python society. I wanted to settle this, but you've gone too far." Limo's voice carried cold menace. "I'll give you one chance to apologize and beg for mercy. Hand over 10,000 cosmic sand as compensation, and we'll let this go. Otherwise, the fierce intent in Limo's eyes intensified. The treasures taken from Heiduomo had been worth just over 10,000 cosmic sand. Some newly ascended eternal true gods couldn't even cough up that much. 10,000 cosmic sand was a heavy price. Forcing Luo Feng to pay would restore the society's face. "Stop talking nonsense." Luo Feng set down his cup. "Either attack or get lost." Limo froze. The eternal true gods watching were bewildered. This newcomer, Luo Hei, was shockingly brazen. Most eternal true gods were cautious. Few dared to openly provoke a darkness faction like this. "Good," Limo barked and produced a black scepter in his right hand. His aura burst forth as divine power flared. He attacked with his most prized technique, holding nothing back. His power rivaled that of Heiduomo. "Shatter!" he roared, and the black scepter cleaved through space as if splitting chaos itself. A devastating concept of destruction surged forward. But Luo Feng was no longer who he'd been when he first came to Origin Continent. He gave a short snort, waved his left hand, and his palm became a blade as he executed the life and death blade. When his palm met the shattering scepter, the full force of his perfect divine body, the body refinement he had pushed to its peak, erupted through his hand. Limo's blood-red eyes widened. He felt an irresistible weight bearing down on him. The black scepter rebounded and struck his body. A streak of blade light swept through him. His body could not resist. Creation and destruction spun, and the blade light tore through him. "Stop!" Guildmaster Mu Yang cried from afar, alarmed, but there was nothing he could do. The exchange between eternal true gods happened in an instant. Luo Feng remained in his seat, holding a glowing artifact, a true god heart, in his left hand. In one clash, he had seized Vice Guildmaster Limo's true god heart. "Mercy! Mercy!" Limo's terrified face flickered on the surface of the true god heart, begging repeatedly. His black scepter and other personal treasures spat out and floated before Luo Feng. Luo Feng toyed with them briefly, then shook his head. Still quite poor. Menghualu hurried forward, frantic. "Lord Luo Hei, show mercy. You are all honored guests in my dream flower house." "I'll give Menghualu face," Luo Feng said, stowing away the spoils and continuing to regard the true god heart in his hand. "Vice Guild Master Limo, I'm giving you one last chance. Pay 20,000 cosmic sand, and I'll spare your life." "I am generous. Your weapons and treasures are included toward that amount. You only need to add another 12,000 cosmic sand," he added, voice calm and unyielding. "Pay and live. Don't pay and don't complain." The other eternal true gods at the Baihua banquet felt an invisible pressure pressed down on them. Some felt their own true god hearts tremble. At that moment, the gathered cultivators realized what had happened. A terrifying new force had arrived in Huyang City. Chapter 20, Blood Python Guild Master and Luo Feng. I'll pay. The true god heart in Luo Feng's palm pulsed, and the image of Vice President Lai Mo that appeared on its surface was full of panic. What dignity came with being a powerful cultivator? At this moment, it meant nothing. Vice President Lai Mo did not want to die. "Where is the cosmic sand for the additional payment?" Luo Feng asked. "It's with the Guildmaster. The Guildmaster has it." The image of Vice President Lai Mo on the true god heart cried out desperately. His voice, laced with eternal true god-level divine power, spread quickly. If not for the Dreamflower House's numerous concealment formations, it would have carried even further. Outside the Lan Xing Hall entrance, a black-scaled figure arrived in an instant, Blood Python Guild Master Mu Yang. As the leader of a darkness faction, Mu Yang's skin was covered in black scales, but his aura was restrained and outwardly calm. Those who knew him, however, understood that Mu Yang was one of the top powers in Huyang City. His strength was unfathomable. Even the city lord's mansion had suffered losses at his hands. 12,000 cosmic sand. I will pay the additional amount. Spare my brother, Mu Yang said with a smile. And we'll redeem that scepter weapon as well. Name your price. Guildmaster Mu, how straightforward you are. Luo Feng held the true god heart in his left hand, then waved. The scepter flew into view. This scepter counts as 6,000 cosmic sand. I haven't even handed over the cosmic sand, and he's already returned the weapon. Impressive, Mu Yang laughed. He understood full well the consequences of refusing to pay. A black bottle materialized in his hand and flew toward Luo Feng. Luo Feng swept a thread of divine power over it and confirmed it contained precisely 18,000 pieces, no more, no less. Luo Feng took the bottle in his right hand, flicked his left, and the true god heart transformed into a streak of light and shot back into Vice President Limo's body. Limo quickly recovered and stood, his eyes fixed on Luo Feng with fear. None of the other eternal true gods present dared to intervene. Any misstep could bring them trouble. I truly admire you, Luo He. It is only right that 200,000 cosmic sand be compensated to him, Mu Yang said finally. We'll take our leave from tonight's Baihua banquet. With that, Blood Python Guildmaster Mu Yang walked out, Vice President Lai Mo following. Menghua Luju, the Dreamflower Lord, could only watch from the side. Luo Feng examined the black bottle in his hand. This guildmaster is surprisingly generous, he thought. Of the dozen or so eternal true gods attending the banquet, the Blood Python Guildmaster was, by Luo Feng's intelligence, the most terrifying and wealthiest. Don't be fooled by the status of the Qimeng royal family's eternal true gods. There were many of them, and their arts consumed copious resources. How much could they hoard? Mu Yang, as sole ruler of the Blood Python Guild, exploited cultivators of all races across Huyang City and had amassed staggering wealth. True God Luohi, the Dreamflower Lord, said as she approached, "It's not suitable to remain any longer tonight. Menghua Loju, I'll take my leave." Luo Feng rose. With so many eternal true gods watching from afar, he couldn't stay to enjoy the music. He left with Morosa. Menghua Luju accompanied them to the entrance and promised earnestly, "True God, rest assured, Dreamflower House will take good care of a Luoya from now on." She was visibly nervous. After all, she had watched Luo Feng pluck Vice President Limo's true god heart in a single move. "This true god Luo He is too strong," she muttered as she watched them go. "He should be one of the top few in Huyang City. Why did he lose control under my illusion?" This Baihua banquet was truly spectacular. One of the Qimeng royal family's eternal true gods declared as the event wound down. That conflict ended with the Blood Python Guild bowing its head. Whether it was Luo Feng's action or Mu Yang's obedient compensation, the scene had stirred everyone's blood. A darkness faction leader humbled himself. Rare, indeed. "True God Luo, his strength is terrifying," another said. Did he lose control because of a flaw in his mind, or did he choose to lose control? Those who remained could not shake their curiosity. Lord Baiwu murmured, "His strength is above mine. The Blood Python Guild Master is extremely powerful, yet he endured it." As a known peer of Darkness faction powers in Huyang City, Baiwu understood how fearsome Mu Yang was. Much of the Blood Python Guild's authority stemmed from Mu Yang's individual might. One by one, the eternal true gods left, discussing the events in low voices. Only Shang Tianyan and Sang Shuiyun, both smitten with Menghua Luju, lingered. "My newly acquainted brother, Luo He, is no ordinary man," Shang Tianyan said. "He even drank with me and called me a friend. With that strength, how could he lose control in an illusion?" Sang Shuiyun's decadent eyes were puzzled. An eternal true god might have a fragile will, but not one with such power. "True," Shang Tianyan conceded. "Refining exotic beast bloodlines or cultivating powerful secret arts all demand an extremely strong will. Yet he lost control. Both of us saw it." Sang Shuiyun frowned. "Maybe losing control wasn't because the illusion was too strong. Perhaps he purposely immersed himself," Shang Tianyan suggested. "Was there something he was trying to find in the illusion?" He turned toward Menghua Luju as she flew over from afar and called, "Luju." Sang Shuiyun's gaze toward her softened. "Blood Python Guild headquarters. Our Blood Python Guild lost too much face this time," Mulin, the other vice guild master, said bitterly. "We were suppressed by a newcomer eternal true god, and you, guildmaster, personally offered compensation. This happened in the Dreamflower House with so many eternal true gods watching. Word will spread through Huyang City by morning." Vice President Limo and Guildmaster Mu Yang were silent. "Limo, is he really that strong? He took your true god heart in one move?" Mulin pressed. "Would I lie about such a thing?" Limo snapped, stung by humiliation and anger. Enough. Mu Yang's voice cut through the room. He looked out the window and said, "This matter ends here." Mu Lin was surprised. Are we just going to let this Luo He, who came from nowhere, always suppress our guild? An ordinary eternal true god daring to slap our face. Of course we can't tolerate that, Mu Yang replied calmly. But an eternal true god who can take Vice President Lai Mo's true god heart in one move, if we bow our heads and endure, that is not shameful. He looked past the window. He knew I would act. The enemy is in the dark, and I am in the light. He has detailed intelligence on me, while I know nothing about him. I couldn't act rashly. Just wait. Once I learn his background, Mu Yang's eyes went cold. I will make him pay. Over a dozen eternal true gods had witnessed the scene. Word traveled fast, and all the forces in Huyang City with even moderate intelligence picked up detailed reports. Everyone remembered the name Luo He. In a small building belonging to the Yanfeng Guild, Pavilion Master Yanfeng read the latest intelligence report and smiled. This Luo He is intriguing. He lost control while listening to Menghua Lu Ju's musical illusion, but without any secret treasures or weapons, he reached out and took the Blood Python Guild's Vice Guild Master's true god heart. The gray mist figure sorting the intelligence said coldly. He made his move in front of Blood Python Guild Master Mu Yang, clearly ready to fight, but Mu Yang endured and bowed his head. "Uncle, who do you think is stronger between the two?" Yanfeng asked. Our records show the Blood Python Guild Master served multiple assassination attempts by the 5 great families. Several eternal true gods from those families died at his hands. We still haven't fully uncovered his background, the gray mist figure replied. As for Luo He, he's nearly a blank slate, too mysterious. Who's stronger? Only a fight will tell, the gray mist figure said. But based on Mu Yang's temperament, this won't end so easily. Yanfeng's eyes gleamed with anticipation. In Chaos Armor No. 3's super-large cave mansion, Mo Li Meng read the City Lord Mansion's intelligence and was startled. This Luo He can actually suppress the Blood Python Guild? The City Lord's Mansion has upgraded his rating to Class A. The City Lord's Mansion categorized eternal true gods from highest to lowest as A, B, C, D. An A-class rating meant an eternal true god that even dispatching a Huyang Legion might not defeat.